There's left to go on a Tuesday afternoon here as we try and get back to positive territory for not only the NASDAQ but the S&P, working its way currently, must be said, in the right direction. We're under 1 full percent now for the S&P 500. Still negative territory, but as I said, going the right direction here. 0.5% for the NASDAQ to the upside. It's been tech, and more tech all day long, showing the most strength here. 0.5%, as I said, from the NASDAQ, 1.5% to the downside for the Dow, lagging big time. Huge move in oil we'll talk about, back under 100, back under $98 for that matter. So 2% here for the TSX. Yeah, there it is, 9.3% currently for crude oil. On a huge tumble today, just an unbelievable move. There's a look at the board right now. Consumer discretionary shares. This entire group, slowly but surely all day long, kind of working its way back in the right direction. Etsy with a huge move, 9% today. NCLH 9%, 8.25% there for Caesars, back to the upside. CCL as well, 5%. The oil move all about the recession fears that continue to linger in the background. There it is, energy, front and center right here. 9% for Halliburton, Apache, HES, COP, to name a few. Industrials are lower outside of some of the airlines, utilities as well, under pressure. But as we said, still some time to go, still heading in the right direction as of right now. So we'll see how far we can go for the S&P back to the upside. NASDAQ has been leading the way all afternoon. I'll see if this will pop up for us. Might not. It'll need a refresh maybe. Give it a minute. You'll see a bit of a green board, but it's been tech leading all afternoon. Hope your day is going well as we head into the final 2 hours of the day. Arun is in for Neil. We'll get into what we were looking at this morning a little bit. Sean is here to lead the way, however. It was an exciting open this morning. So much opportunity. And that's not even talking about oil yet or energy markets, but Sean's here. He's going to have a look at one of his trades.
Oil, energy. Today's trade of the day is brought to you by you guys, man. We gave you an option today on here, Twitter, at TraderTV, and look what won. It was only a quick 20-minute or 15-minute poll because we're like, oh my God, we got to decide to do this. I said, let's throw it to the people and see what they chose. So right down here, hands down, Meta, Genius Abilities, Meta, so on and so forth. We'll choose Meta. Apple came in pretty close here, but there it is, 87 votes, a quick one. We'll choose Meta if we can close this, and we'll talk about now why we chose Meta and what was up with it. So let's just be real quick here. You can see the NASDAQ's up 0.62. Why did we choose Meta? This is Friday, right before the long weekend. Look at this move that Meta had up in the second half of the day. We highlighted with the ellipse here. We started about 157, even 156 down there, straight up to 160. So again, this is a 20-minute chart. Just give an idea of kind of stuff that we're looking at. Big movement to the upside, right up to that 160 level, and even breaking higher, about 160.50. So we came in today, saw that Meta was hovering around down here, and look at these key levels again, sort of where we started up again. So we wanted this long, so let's look at our trading. Well, the same thing happens again and again and again on this name. We kind of let it settle down a little bit. The first problem was we take a 158 break, getting a little excited there. We knew we wanted Meta long, but we thought maybe we missed it. It was kind of barcoding here off the open, back and forth. It breaks that high of 158. We get long. Okay, small amount of shares again. Breaking the pre-market high, taking Meta long 158. Okay, no real problems here because as it comes back in, we take another piece here at about 157.30 or so, and then a very bottom down here. What's this line? 157, yeah, a little lower there. So 156 and change we take. Then it just starts to blow back up to the upside. And again, sometimes it's a little bit of luck because you got to have the futures on your side. Okay, so our out was going to be about 155. That's about $1, $1.30, $1.40 worth of risk. Then it just starts to go back up to the upside. Start to get some out here, right there, 157.50 or so for about 30, 40 cents, comes back in, getting a little nervous and taking some more out still for profit. But as we come back and hover below the 50 period and volume weighted average price, we always get asked that. This is an EMA, 50 period EMA on a 1 minute chart, and this is volume weighted right here. So VWAP in the 50 period. Upside. Then we start to go up, takes them out again, 159.50. The market really starts to go. There's another out at 160.50. So now we're really going. We're $3, $4, $5 in the money. Market blows up again. Let it go, man. 163. We're still in this name. Still let it go. Let it go. It doesn't break this 50 period. We're using that Then it breaks down here, and we're like, nah, you know what? Let's give this a little lower to 160. Doesn't matter. Boom, boom, boom. Meta right there. There's our final out. When we finally break that 50-period moving average, and look at the price, 164.50. This is the long from 157, 156. So we're instantly catching $7 and change, a little bit more to the upside. We get out. But then it comes back down, and this is where I'm like, oh man, I can't believe we got out. So let's reload this trade. Comes back down, and look what it does again. This is the one thing that I try to make it as obvious as I can, and I even need to do better myself. And that is that when a stock that we like shows us a bottom, we can get right back in, and we do it here, which is great. I want to do it a little bit more. So here it shows us that bottom of about 163.70 or so. So where do we get in? On a break again of 164. Upside, giving ourselves about 50 cents worth of risk to that downside break. And then look what happens. Long 164, it goes to 166. So right there, again, we have 4-to-1 risk to reward. 50 cents downside, $2 upside. We eventually get out when it breaks view up there at 165.30, something like that, giving us that dollar win. But either way, Meta today, again, very strong into the weekend. Strong into the weekend. Today, the NASDAQ starts to get lifted. So look at Meta, 3%. 3% against the NASDAQ, just 0.58. So to me, it was a great trade because we sort of assessed which long we wanted, why we wanted it, and then it was all about a push from there. When you get dealt pocket aces and you think they're good, you kind of got to push. We could have got out here if it broke lower, fine, but it didn't. Then we enjoy it to the upside. Even if it breaks there, that's a $1.50 worth of pain, right? But the upside move is worth much more than that, and it's your trade of the day.
Great move and a great trade for Meta today, back to the upside after a pretty rocky week last week. There were a number of questionable headlines coming through, if you remember last week, but a bounce back today, along with most of the other tech stocks that were on the watch list today, guys. Make sure you grab that every day before we come on at 8:30. Use the QR code. Very, very simple. You can grab that for free. Did I mention it's free? Use your email address. So a number of different kind of questionable headlines coming into the day as far as the overall market was concerned. More about a recession, more about what direction the market was going to pick here, or lack thereof possibly, heading into the next couple of weeks. We were talking about Tesla right out of the gate. Obviously, delivery numbers out over the weekend were not good for Tesla. That was on Saturday. There was a number of negative notes, including, JP Morgan with a price target cut today, but hey, no problem. Tesla positive on the day. It was 1% at the top there, but struggling around 690. So regardless of where you look, there was these kind of reversals on charts all over the place, guys, including on Tesla.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, Arun having some earpiece problems, so we'll handle it. We also do have today Tuesdays with Tony. So we'll drop down some money. There's always some valuable lessons to be learned there from Tony today. Today's going to talk a little bit about, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Martin Shkreli is going to be on the docket today. Tesla red to green. Okay, so just quickly here, you talked about a little bit back and forth here. There's only one way we've been going on Apple today. Foxconn news, nicely done to the upside. We don't really have Apple on the board, so let's just talk about that with today's little whippy action. The reason why I like Apple here, and I think it's worth talking about, is because we get that buy down here to 137. We talked about that. It's in the early morning show that we wanted this dip down into 137. By the way, Arun's been pretty active trading. We'll talk about that. So the people will be happy about that. Not that it matters. Some setups have come through. We'll talk about those. But there's the Apple buy, right? So a nice little bottom, Apple bottom jeans right here, down to the downside. Then a nice little move up. Best out, 138.60, right? That's $1.60. There we go again, 139 almost. Comes back in, and then this is what I'm talking about with choppiness. Apple comes up, beautiful move to the upside, then pulls all the way back down into the 50 period again. We're like, thank you, come again. Let's reload that. Hit the fireworks on the reload for Apple. Then it goes straight to the upside again. So that's a 138. So this is 137. There's the 138 reload. There's the 139.70. Couple more outs here as we go. Then there we're holding. We're trying to hold 20, 30% for these bigger moves. So we do that. So we'll floss it off there for Apple. Then all of a sudden it comes right, so we get out, right? Then it comes right back down. We test it again at 139. 139 breaks and we get out. And then all of a sudden, boop, boop, boop. A level is developed right there. So we get back long Apple, Arun, 139, out 139.30, out 139.50, out 140.10 right there. As our last piece comes out of Apple, now we are flat on Apple, but that was a monster move right there. Apple, I would have chosen Apple, guys, as our trade of the day, but I respect the people and give them Meta right there. And then if you want to talk about Tesla, only because I know we talked about this, and it's not really a name that you look at too often, not to speak for you, but I think that that's true for Tesla today. And honestly, guys, and I know we just minimized my sticky notes, so let me just find this quickly right here. Look what we wrote down here, and I'll just leave it as this, and then we can look at this together. So Tesla today, watch the 666 break, find a bottom near 650 for Tesla. And again, sometimes, like I keep saying, man, you get lucky on some of these levels, but there's 650 again. It held. The bottom of the day is 648.50. So if you gave it that little wick down, it was about $1.50 worth of move. There's that 666 break that happened early. We missed that. We should have had it on the short side as the market was falling early. Boom, right down to 650 and then a move back up. Why did we like that 666 level? Well, it just came into play from last week. So, and then 650, always nice when you get a 650 level due to the even dollar. So I heard Luca talking about that as well, but there's 650 coming into play a couple days ago. I guess it was just on the 30th, came into play at 650, and then there's that very bottom today of 650 one more time. So, you know, not easy trading today on Tesla, but, you know, if you've been long bias off that 650, it's been cruising all day right now, and just now giving some back. So watch out for a 684.85 break back down in, and maybe we test view up again, but so far so good here for the day trade on Tesla.
Yeah. This morning when we were talking about Tesla, I mentioned to you guys, like, it's going sideways. You're going to have to play the range. If you're good at playing the ranges, then this is what you got to do. Work the ranges somewhere south of 665 towards the bottom end. If you get the setup, you go for the long. 650 was the bottom. Well, that worked out perfectly, as long as you didn't use a hard stop. And I always advise against using hard stops. But the low was 648.50. There's always going to be slippage, right? So 650 essentially holds, and now here we are at the top end of the range. So shorts were good this morning. If you had a reason to go long inside of that range, you play the range, now you're at the top end, now you're looking for shorts, and you're going to spin the trade around. That's all essentially you've got to do. If you're good at range trading, you just go ping pong back and forth, and it looks like that would have worked out really, really well. That would have been a $40 mover, depending on where you caught it. Probably $30 bucks if you caught it in the 660s, going all the way up to the 690. And now here we are kind of going sideways. It's not surprising. Markets also had resistance as well. So top end resistance makes sense for Tesla to slow down. And as long as these two levels hold, that's what you're going to have to do. Play ping pong, right? Go shorts at the top end of the range, look for longs at the bottom end of the range. Once the range goes, and it will go at some point, once it goes, that's when you step in, play the breakout move, and see if you can get an extension.
Sean was talking about Apple there. We can touch on the tech group in general because it's been pretty impressive here right across the board. And in fact, the only real bright spot outside of travel names on the day today, guys, really leading this market back to positive territory. The NASDAQ, as we saw, 0.5%. We're still struggling around that 1%. For the S&P. So not only Apple, Microsoft, they're all having a pretty good start to this holiday shortened week.
Yeah, great. I mean, I think it's been a great start for a lot of these names. And, you know, we talked about the NASDAQ a couple times there the last week and the struggles that's been happening for them. I just wonder, we did have Frank Caburn on. We talked a little bit about the dollar. The dollar today, you talked about the Dixie, was going absolutely crazy. So I don't know if that's signaling something or what we should expect here moving forward. But, yeah, for right now, the futures seem to be dancing around here on the NASDAQ, and we're staying a little high side right now. So I like what I'm seeing here. But yeah, tech today, big time leaders. AMD, I mean, was very negative. We started shorting this, then we flipped over to the long. AMD even, that's been a stalwart here to the downside. It's really struggled here in the last little while, just making these new lows, making a low to 72, but it seems to have battled back a little bit, taking out some of those lows there from Friday. So a nice little move back up to the long side here for AMD, and we are now long on AMD in the money now 50 cents. You could see we flipped. So we were short. Once that one got stopped out there, short into here, short again. Then we just flipped long, defending this 73, and you could see that's been pretty cash reloaded there as well. But it seems like tech right now, Rude, starting to lead the day, kind of as expected, just because it's been so beat down. The NASDAQ, and I don't know if you want to look at the futures or some names that you're looking at as well, but they've been down so much there. The SMH alone was down 9% last week. So it's nice to see AMD, Nvidia, and the rest battling back. But I know we'll talk about chips next, but I just feel like the NASDAQ, if we're going to come out of this, and I know Neil and I went back and forth on this a little bit, I still think it's the NASDAQ that's going to lead us through all this. So I look for strength. And then there's the triple Qs today. If we can look at this just real quick, up 0.45%. And then if we just look at it from the 1 minute chart, will it load back there? Yep, there it is. So again, respecting, just very similar to a lot of those charts that we've looked at, AMD, Apple, Meta, all that, but still not breaking that low from Friday. So we have earnings season coming through right now. Let's see if we can trust some of these chip names. But right there, a nice little bottom made at 277 and respected again this morning. So nice upside move here in the Qs, but is it going to be long? Who knows? I just feel like you take advantage of what's in front of you right now and then deal with the rest later.
Yeah, and for me this morning was like when Sean was, you were in something, and I was like, I took a quick look at the top tech names, and Apple was the relative strength. When everything else was down like 1% or almost 2%, Apple was underneath 1. And it was relatively strong. So when tech turned around, everything is now positive. I'm looking up and I'm like, why is Apple still the laggard here? Because it was stronger on the way down, but it's not catching up or is not leading on the way up because it's only up 0.8 versus Amazon, Meta, north of 3%, Google also up north of 3%. So I would think that in a move like this, if Apple was holding well on the way down, Apple should be the one leading the charge on the way up. The fact that it's not makes me hesitant on what to do with the market as a whole because Apple has the largest weight in these indexes, right? So where Apple goes, technically where Apple and Microsoft go, the market goes. So we'll see how this one plays out, but I keep an eye on Apple just because of the way it's been moving around today. It's weird because, again, relative strength should matter once the market turns around. Not today, apparently.
Pretty interesting note, guys. We'll talk about some of the chip makers. Pretty interesting note out this afternoon. I saw from Refinitiv here, wanted to share with everyone. The S&P 500 earnings as we head back into earnings, officially below a 25-year average. So PE right now, guys, at 16.79 times, which is below a 25-year average of 16.9 for the first time in a long time as we head back into earnings season. A lot of the moves in the chip sector were based off of, all of the tech sector were based off of elevated PEs, but it's been a long time, 25 years since we've been down this far.
Yeah, exactly. It's been, what a crazy bull run. In the last 10 years or so, you go all the way back down, obviously, to 2008, where we had some crisis. And there's been some ups and downs throughout all of that. But yeah, 16 on the PE. I still think there's a lot of value to be found out here in the market when you do look at those names like you mentioned there, the Microsofts, the Apples, things like that. Even a name like Ford today, if you wanted to say, you know what, I like kind of like these legacy names. Ford down 2.5%, was a lot lower, down to 1060, kind of making it back upside right now. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of traders here today to pick up some decent value if you believe that this market is turning around. I just look at a name like last week there, Nike. You want to talk about another big name that's really been hit to the downside here over the last little while. Look at Nike on a daily range here. If the S&P is indeed at some point going to turn around, why not Nike as well? Their PE is down near historic lows, so you get a nice little move to the upside here off that $100 mark. So I feel like there is a lot of value to be had. And then the other problem too is when you get banks, the number is slightly, I would assume it's a little heavily weighted here because of some of the performances of these banks. Some of these names, man, are just down a lot when it comes to the banks. So, some of these historic PEs, let me just show you for an example. Sorry about all these wicks on there. I know it looks ridiculous, but we were just at 170 back in early I guess mid-January, we're pretty much touching highs. Now you're down to 111, right? So you want to talk about some shareholder destruction that's been happening. Let me just go over here to FinViz and just see a big, huge bank like JPM, like what has their historical PE been at? I'm not even sure. It's kind of, again, a rhetorical question there. Has it been at 8? I mean, so some of these PEs, like you just mentioned there, that the market is 16. Is this Eli Manning? Yeah, I guess it is. 16 there for the market. What about an 8 or 9 handle on some of these markets? So I look at them and say, yeah, maybe we do have a little bit of room to the upside here if some of these banks correct. But again, I feel like we have to wait for the E to happen in the PE, and let's see where these earnings are and if there's any sort of a guide forward or any sort of a warning from a lot of these companies. But the banks definitely hurting some of that PE.
All right. Well, for chips, I'm going to take a look at Nvidia because that was actually one of the trades that I didn't make. So we were long Nvidia earlier after it bounced off of these 142, 141-ish. And we were long here at 146, initial exit 148. Again, I just dumped the rest of it around 148. It was a great run. Chip weakness, you say it, and you get a move like this, you're like, oh, great. It's a nice little rally. Chips have been weak for a little bit. And then you look at the daily, you're like, yeah, I don't want to stay in this too long because chips have been weak. Today is a different day. They're rallying well today, but at the same time, they're rallying right into resistance. Nvidia specifically, it's been going sideways around this 155 since early May. Finally made a breakout recently, and now we're going to bounce back up. As great as 1.82% is on the day, we're going right back up into resistance, so previous support. So in the next couple days, when we get back into that 155 area, you're going to start to see what should be previous support acting as resistance, working its way back down. So I don't want to stay in this too long. Although today has been a great day, chips have been weak. And I think I have to respect the fact that we took 2 months to finally get going south of 155. On the way back up, we got to respect it.
Let's talk a little oil, shall we? I was just double checking. On the day, we're now down 8.95%. For crude oil. I can bring this chart over and show you. It's been ugly right from the word go. It was 9 a.m. right on the dot, 9 a.m. Eastern, right on the, or I guess this is actually Central Time. So 9 a.m. Central Time, right on the dot. Somebody turned on a buy program. You can see the volume come in here, and it has just been relentless all day long. We get back below 100. We get back below $98 at one point. It has retaken that, but what a day for crude back to the downside. And the only real catalyst I found on this was just recession talk, guys, that, you know, if people are not spending as much money, that means they're not going to be spending as much money on driving around, going on holidays and things of that nature. But crazy move for crude today.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. You mentioned there's some of these programs kicking off. I feel like you said buy program. I'm pretty sure you meant sell program. Looks obviously, yeah. Looks like a buy program right now. That's sort of what I went over to Arun. I was like, maybe we're talking about now. As you get ready into the close here, there is a little bit of a bump up now happening. But look at this move, as Brendan was talking about here. Tick, 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 tick. Like no one was hitting the bid key whatsoever as this move happened all the way down. Then they hit it again and again and again, but it looks like 97.50 maybe. But at this point, I feel like we are cherry picking, right? When you're sitting here looking at some of these names and wondering where we're going, I feel like you're cherry picking some of these bottoms because who knows? Is this going to be a bottom or not? But I did say to the boys there that I feel like if you're going to start to pick something up and you want, you know, what about picking up the XLE right now? You are back to the 200 period right now into some of this strength down here, or I don't know if it's going to be strength or not, but some consolidation here around 67, 68 for XLE. I still actually believe in the fact that, hey, maybe there is some buying coming in soon on oil. It's been a nice move to the downside. You can look at an XOM, Chevron. We always talk about what's the name, Oxy there as well today. But I just look at the ETF and say, hey, XLE's 40% XOM, 40% of it is XOM and CVX. So I like all of these. If you look at XOM today, we've been shorting this name since 90. Now, we don't have any on today to show you as far as a short is concerned or anything like that. But XOM not pulled back as far as the 200 period. So I think you can get a little bit more strength here in the XLE versus XOM. So That's where I would look right now. But yeah, nasty move to the downside here for the futures. And honestly, I'm not sure where we go, but it's nice to see a little bit of a bump up now happening in oil as 850. Look, I'm feeling it at the pump, man. I mean, we had a nice little move downside there on the weekend here in Ontario, so that was pretty nice. But wow, down still 9%, 8.5% there for oil today. I don't know if you had any look on the futures, Arun, or not, but this is a nice move to the downside here for OIL. I'm about to say OIH, but that's the holders.
Yeah, actually, we'll go back to Brendan. I'm actually working a position on crude going into the close, so I need some time to focus on this a little bit.
Okay, we'll go back to Brendan. But anyways, Arun will discuss that when he's out of that position into the close. Because remember, we have to be flat on every single trade here going into 4 o'clock. So, you know, that's part of it. So this is oil's close right now, 2:30, as you know, Brendo.
Yeah, I was just reading through a Michael Burry tweet. Apparently he has reopened his Twitter account again. BABA up 1% here. Yeah, we'll touch on crude here as it closes for the day. But Alibaba up 1% now, just took out that last little pivot on the way to new highs for the day. But Chinese strength once again, talked about it all last week, coming into the brand new week. It was EV makers specifically in the pre-market that were showing a little bit more relative strength. But now even Alibaba, JD.com having a pretty good day as well.
All right, we can look at Alibaba. I mean, I was only looking at NEO earlier on, and so I guess that's a nothing burger, so to speak, here on NIO. But we'll look at that in a minute. But yeah, Alibaba, that's still a daily chart. I really like this name. I mean, you're not going to find too many tech names like an Alibaba, obviously, that is above its period here. So you're above the 50 period. You're trying to hit the 200 period now. So there is a lot of strength here in BABA. And I just feel like as it continues to go, we'll look at a minute chart. This name probably needs to get taken once you take that 200 period of 120 or so. So again, another name that I like, Alibaba, trying to work it to the upside again here. Look at that. And did it hold 115? Not really. It ticked all the way down to 112 early. So this is what I'm talking about. You got to keep these plays in mind into the open. We often get distracted with too much here off the open, but Alibaba, if you look at that 115 level here, I don't know what's going to look like on the 20 minute, but yeah, it's just kind of, you go back here to the 24th where we had 115, then back in here in the 29th and the 30th, and then it's been pretty choppy around those levels. This is that 120, 121 area that I'm talking about. Really like Alibaba into there. If we are going to look for a short, I would sort of re-engage it around those levels. But just quickly here, the name that was on the sticky note was NIO, and I actually wrote it here that we did have a 2050 bottom and look for it to fake bump to 22 bucks. Fade the bump, fake the bump up there to 22 bucks. So here it comes. Nice little move to the upside on NIO. There's that 2050. And again, it's right here on the sticky note. I mean, I keep talking about it, and I'm just sort of wait to see Arun when he's done there. Where's my, I got to go to profile there. Nice burgers there, by the way, whoever that was. But here it is right here. We talked about it, NIO, right? Watch out for 2050 there. Key level, take a long. If 20 fails, we can get out. But we ignored that. We shouldn't have. Looking to fade a bump to 22. So that's where we are right now. So let's do that. Let's respect our own little sticky note here. We don't do that enough, I find. But there's a little bump up to 22. And all we're trying to do is look at where we came from. We've been to 22 before on the first there on Friday. A nice little bump to 21.75. You're starting to take that out right now. There's 22 right here. Let's fade this into 22. And if it takes it out, we could take a 12-cent hit from here. A little bit more upside as the market's trying to go. So we'll try to get out some NIO here, or try to get in as it goes up to 22 bucks. The high of the day was 22.40. That's not right. So there's NIO today, bottom there, making some moves up. Let's fade it ahead of 22. Start the short rate now. Yeah,
I'm still in it. I promise I will talk about what I'm doing after oil closes, but oil is ripping up right now. Into the close. Remember, it's still going to trade because it's on Globex. It'll keep trading, but the official close is going to be 2:30 as Globex allows it to trade a little bit further. We've got about 10 seconds or so before crude closes up.
Soon. Yeah. 5 seconds until crude closes. So you come over here. I am right now trying to get short on NIO, and unfortunately, I tried to get those 88s, missed them. We'll see about getting an 86 now, and then if that can come through, then great. There it is, right up to 89. So now we can, now with oil officially closed, we'll see the closing price here down right there, 99. I don't know what the official close would be, but 99.50, 99.40, something like that. Back up that 8% back to only down 8% after hitting $97. Let's see in the aftermarket here if crude can close or just continue to trade around that $100 mark. So there it is. We did short into NIO. So now I guess we see where NIO wants to take us from here. Hopefully it wants to go back in. So NEO looking for a little bit of a bid down to 21.70 right now. Only about 15 minutes until Tuesdays with the tone stir.
All right. Okay, now I'll talk about it. Crude. So what I was doing is I was actually doing some buying here. I noticed a good base going into the close. We tend to, get some form of closing up of existing positions. So as the market based out around 98, I was like, you know what? Let's buy up some crude contracts. So as you can see, you can't see it on that chart. Damn it. Okay, here we go. Pull the lower third.
Meta.
So as crude was basing out and starting to turn, I decided to step in and do some buying here around these 99s. And here we are getting out as the market closed here, just north of 99.50. So it's about 55 cents on average, and each penny is worth about $10 per contract you have. Still going strong too. I knew this is the move I was waiting for, closer to 100, but I wasn't going to stick around too long. I actually didn't want to trade it too long. So here we are just making a quick, 55 cents or so as we made our trade. One trade, and like have been trading all day, essentially is waiting for my move. I get my move, I make my money, and then I walk away. In crude, I made my 55 cents at $10 a penny per contract. I'm good. I'm done. That's the only trade I'm going to make on crude. I didn't catch anything else earlier. We were looking for these 107s and all this stuff. Never happened. Maybe a potential long here if we stabilize. That never happened. Good thing. And the market just continued to fall off. So we're done with crude here. As you can see on the board, I've got one position left. That's Meta long, 161.13. After having a quiet morning, I started my day off with the ASML long, which didn't work out well at all. There was news on it too later on. So we lost on ASML, but then we picked up some Nvidia longs. That worked out 146 into 148 twice. And then the other one was Meta. We didn't catch it down here like Sean did at 157, but we did catch 161s. Right through here, this congestion. It was decent stability. We got above some major levels let me pull up the 60-minute chart on Meta here. Here we go. Right above here, this 162-ish is what I wanted to see. We got above, we stabilized, so I went ahead and caught the bid on the 161s, and here we are long right there. Got some out in front of 165, and I've got the rest, and we're going to carry that through. Also has some Boeing trades in there. So quiet start. I was getting a little flack for staying quiet this morning, not trading, but at the same time, you got to trade what sets up for you. In this case, I had to wait all day, or at least a few hours, until we got to the point where we've now traded crude. We've made money on crude. We've made money on every single stock except for ASML, which didn't work out quickly.
Yeah, so as you're talking there, Arun, the market is just ripped city straight to the upside, man. 140.20 right now. What's up, Brendan?
Just quickly on DWAC, guys. Big move on Digital World Acquisition Corporation, 24 up to 25.5. The New York Post reporting that former President Trump will, in fact, make a run for 2024.
Okay, I didn't think that's. I guess that's news. I guess they're announcing that. So let's wait to hear from maybe his party or whatever, and then we'll see, right? I mean, you're coming into midterms and all that kind of stuff right now on the U.S. side of things. So hey, President Trump, 2024. I don't know, Trump versus Biden part 2. You ready for that there, Arun? We'll see how exciting that is coming out. I mean, that's the one thing about the U.S. market and politics, right? Is like the stock market is so volatile on any kind of news like that, especially a name like DWAC coming through there. Let's just have a quick look at that name. That's a New York name, I believe. No, it's a NASDAQ name. That's how long it's been since I've looked at this anyways. There it is, a nice little move to the upside. And again, I don't know. I don't know. We don't have the ability to download this app here in Canada, but apparently their daily users are doing okay, and we'll see where it goes from here. But this is what DWAC looks like on the announcement of the app and the SPAC up to 170, 180. Obviously, that's market pressure, so we're not worried about that. In dynamics, some shorts getting blown out there on low volume and low everything. That's a big move. And then there it is right now to the downside. So again, I wonder if this name is going to move on Twitter or anything like that. What this is, Arun, is the Truth Social. So it's like a Twitter app, but
Yeah.
I guess on the conservative side. So there it is, DWAC, a nice little 3.3% move upside, created basically to give people a voice because Twitter and other social medias, and again, not to get political here, we all know the story. A lot of those, articles and whatnot taking off some of those sites. So DWAC coming through. And then also the other one, did CFVI switch over yet, or this is still Rumble? Like CFVI here, I don't understand, if this is something, and maybe we can look at this, I almost feel like this deal has been canceled or something with Rumble, because remember, when you're trading these, look at the market right now. Wow, the market is just blowing up, and I'm spending time on DWAC, but CFVI here, $10, that's the price you get for a SPAC. So I wonder if that deal is maybe done now. We had up to $16, $17, or very close, going to turn over, and you just get it for 10, and you start from there. So some interesting moves happening here with CFVI, maybe something there. But wow, man, your trade, my trade, everybody's trade today. I don't know if you're still in Meta, but that is like this. We should still be in this. We got out when it dipped down there. Should have re-engaged it on that break of 164.50. Wow, Meta, man, 4%. This is a name that I've been sort of pumping the tires on. Why? Their PE right now is 11 or 12. So, I mean, if the market is going to rally back, I really like Meta. It's been a monster move to the upside. I am talking up my own book because, hell, I own pretty much every single tech name. If it's a major one anyways, I'm pretty much in there. But look at Meta. And again, that's just off the switch, so forget about it. But some 150s, nice bottom up to 167, starting to go upside Meta. Look at these candles, guys. How many in a row? This is from 216. So you have let's just call it 30 minutes, or what time is it, 2:37, 30 minutes and two red candles. So we have 28 positive candles here against two reds, and this one, motoring, goes Meta to the upside, guys. Big time move.
All right. As the market continues to go, it's going to be hard to figure out what you can do at this point, because there were two trades this morning.
There's so much happening,
tried.
yeah.
Well, I tried to catch some trades this morning. Let's go break this down a little bit more. This is the ES futures. When we broke through here, 80, right there. What the hell?
What the?
Oh man, hold on. Let me take care of this.
Hold up. Okay, so just quickly, as he'll fix that up, I just want to talk about NEO just right quick, man. I mean, NEO was a name here that we had looked at a little bit today, and we did write down that we wanted to fade through 22. The problem is that this market is like on fire. I mean, I don't need to tell you that, up to 1.32%. You could see, just like Facebook, the market, Meta, sorry. Neo would give me hell if I said that. Nice little upside move here. So, shorting Neo into strength hasn't necessarily been a recipe for success, but we'll wait to see here as it's coming up to that 22 level. And I feel like if you're going to short, have no ticks and then short something, this is not diddling in the middle. This is right up to prices that I thought I liked. So we're going to hold this one. If it takes down 22, we're out. Normally, I'll give it a little bit more room. 22.05, 22.10. Nah, not Neo, man. When this thing wants to go, it goes. So we'll get out on a break clean of 22. And then honestly, that'll be a hit. It'll be a decent hit. Not a decent hit. It'll be 10 cents worth of a hit. Still sucks to lose that money, but trust me, we're making it elsewhere. But there, on AMD, for example, there's some size at 22. There's not much there. Expect that to get taken out. While you're looking at the charts, though, look at AMD. You want to talk about something like Facebook. Hello, AMD. And look where we're long down here, 73.70 for AMD. So advanced micro devices, we flipped the switch, man. Started buying this down here at 73. Started buying it again there at 73.50. Look at this upside move happening right now for advanced micro. This name really blowing out upside here. So Good movement. We already took out the day's high of 74.90. That could be a good out, though, 74.80 if we pull back in. Let's just let some of these guys ride, though, to the high side. I'm not sure if you're, big level there, 75.01. Somebody with NASDAQ, a cool 60,000, just got eaten up 20,000 real quick. It's going to go, man. Into 80 million? Come on. This size doesn't play. We're not dealing with that kind of size. I'm not even looking at it, but it's there. There is some pressure to the downside here for AMD. Let's see where we go from here.
All right. What I was saying about these ES futures is that in the event, we essentially had a chance to go for the long down here, missed it. Had a chance to go for the short up here, missed it. So essentially what I was doing was 80 break. If we get underneath 80, let's get some 85s. I thought 80 was too expensive. So I was waiting closer to 85. What happens? Market falls off, goes into the buy range, and then right around here, it sets up. When it got above 65, I'm like, okay, do I want to pay 65 or do I want to pay 60? Chose to pay as close to 60 as possible because I was risking all the way down to 37.20. I was okay with 40 points on risk. What happens? Market then now does this and taking out the top end level. So now with 38.20 gone, having missed twice, there's no trade left for today, at least I can see. Do I want to play for 38.20 breaks? Then I don't know what the stop is here, given how fast we're moving. Do I want to fade this? Definitely not. We're too strong. So you're kind of ruling out trades here as the market decides to run up through these 38.20s and still continue its move. At least I've got Meta, which is almost $6 in the money. Late to the party, but still making $6 on the share or per share here as the market continues a nice little rally to the upside. So we'll see it with market. It's about an hour and change before we get imbalances, and with this kind of a turn, I'm very curious to see what the imbalances are going to look like.
I know you look at mainly the S&P, but do you ever look at the NASDAQ futures there?
I looked at it earlier, actually.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I'm wondering about here, because most of these names that you and I have right now, AMD, NIO, a lot of these names are going to be your Meta, things like that are going to be based on the NQs here. I did do a little bit of work and nothing, like what you were talking about or a deeper dive into it, but, the triple Qs there on a beautiful move. We are now, not even close to some of these levels from last week. I mean, you're nicely up to 286.50, taking out some of those highs from last Friday. And if you're back on a daily chart, we're still away from, some of those complete highs, but we've definitely had a nice 3 or 4 day run back up to some of these levels, including these bottoms here of 288. So I still think there's obviously some room to go here, but, nice little move upside on the NASDAQ today. And here it comes turning around just a little bit. Out on AMD in case, 74.80. I'm going to use that level right here as an area to get out. We ride this all the way to the upside. And I know it's not a lot of shares, but, we're trying to stay disciplined so that we can use more shares, right? The more we develop these strategies, the more confident we become. So, let's do that right now into AMD. Out's going to be 74.80 break, which is right there. We're minutes away. We're going to have Tuesdays with Tony. That should be really exciting. Like I said, he's already given me a little bit of heads up on some of the topics, and we're excited for that one. And then we do have NIO right here. That's come back in a little bit on this dip in the futures. So we'll still stay on NIO. Like if NIO can come back in, that'd be great. Like get some pieces out here, 2180, 2185 if we can. We're short 93, so again, we don't want to rest on this stock and just say, we have it now. I don't think this market really wants to pull back that deep. So any kind of a move back in here for NIO, and I think we would like that. So far so good on all of this. Did you have an out for Meta? And that's the only position you have in, right?
Yeah, that's the only position I've got left.
I keep getting out.
I only have, essentially, I don't do what you do, Sean, which is multiple entries. So I position everything I want at the price initially, and then I'll work my exits throughout the day. And for me, my first exit was going to be around 165. And after that, I just wanted to manage it depending on how it went. And Meta decided it wants to keep going up. So I'm like, okay, I'll just keep trailing it. And essentially what I did now, or what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to move the stop here. Initially, when we came down from 165 to 164, my stop was below 163. Now that we've kind of cleared this 166, after consolidating around 165, I'm okay moving the stop south of 165. So that essentially locks in about $4 and change on this move up. Yeah, we're at 167, but given how strong it's moving, if we get a positive imbalance, given the interest in the stock, we might continue going up even right into the 4 o'clock close. So I'm going to try and hold out as long as I possibly can and see if I can't see this imbalance. And once I see the imbalance, if it's a sell, I'll get out. If it's a buy, then I'm going to hold and maybe even possibly take the final print, because you can send in on-close orders, right? That's what these imbalances are about. We'll send in on-close orders and see if we can't get out with the official print.
All right, Fahad and Lucas, spin it. It's Tuesdays with Tony, baby. So what's up, Tony?
No,
Tony's in the building. There he is. Yeah, just look straight, man. Even though he's right beside us here. Tuesdays with Tony. We just got out of our AMD as it's starting to come down. Wow, what a rally in the market today. Let me guess, you knew this was going to happen, Tony?
Oh no, I was thinking it might go the other way. Like it was futures were green yesterday night. I was seeing it, and I was like, yeah, of course they have to be green. It's July the 4th. We can't have the American markets red when it's Independence Day.
Like
I woke up this morning, it was like down 1% and opened like down 1.5%, the Qs at least, and I was like, oh geez, it's going to get bloody red today. But no, luckily we see a nice rally today, huge rally. In fact, I know somebody in the chat was talking about the biotech sector and me getting back into it. Biotech today, despite our series ETF, now up 4%, over 4% in fact. So it has been indeed an incredible comeback for the entire markets. Crypto, in fact, also making a comeback as well. So it's always a pleasure to see a green Tuesday coming back from the long weekend. By the way, I hope all you guys had a great long weekend. For those of you in America, happy Independence Day, and those of you in Canada, happy Canada Day. But yeah, I hope all you guys had a great long weekend, plenty of rest, and welcome back to the markets. And we kick it off with a beautiful green reversal.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, what a crazy reversal. How was your weekend, by the way? I saw the Blue Jays had a nice little homestand there. Were you working? There was a double header
Yes.
there on Saturday. How did that go for you?
It was an interesting experience. I think the only issue with some of these customer service reading jobs, if any of you guys in the audience have worked like that before, is that sometimes you stand for a bit too long and your feet can't really take it, if anything. So you got to make sure you walk around a little bit here and there. But no, all around it was really cool. It was always a pleasure working there, and the doubleheader was an interesting game. Unfortunately, Jays lost both of them, but Tampa Bay made quite a comeback to the first two games where we beat them. But no, it was a fun experience, and if any of you guys were there at the Jays game, hope you enjoyed the game.
Yeah, so I mean, the weather was absolutely fantastic. Okay, so just quickly here as we go, I just want to go over my trade. We did get out of AMD as it did tick down there, so that was just a $1.80, I guess, victory dance a little bit there for that. So good trade there on AMD. We just got out right here at this price, so wanted to bring it to your attention in case there was something there for AMD for you guys if you did miss that trade. And again, shout out to Leroy Jenkins talking about yeah, look, that's part of the patience game, right? You see the trade that Arun's in right now. You saw me take that Meta and AMD. I mean, if I had more patience, we would still be long AMD. And that's not, it has nothing to do with patience. I mean, these are all executions, and trust me when I'm telling you, they're money time trades. But yeah, just like this Meta trade right here, Arun may, if it had lined up, may still be in like a 157 long, right? So there's your $10 winner to the upside. For me, when it does cracks through some of these levels, I do tend to get out. Tony, I know we don't really go over, this is Tuesdays with Tony here, so it's not always about analyzing the trade. You've done a great job hosting. We don't need you today as Arun is in the building now, but did you have a specific stock or anything that you want to talk about now? And because I don't want to take up too much of your time here, we're already on a couple minutes, but was there an idea, was there a chart that you wanted to show us or anything specifically you wanted to talk about?
I think today, I was mentioning in the chat as well earlier, even before I came on the air, someone was telling me to get back into biotech. But the biotechnology industry, I think, came back quite strong in the past couple of weeks. I think now the XBI is now at 80. We're close to it. It's one I follow. And we had lows of 61.78 here just back in the middle of June, actually. So just over, I think, over 2 weeks, I should say. Biotech's now up 30%. So it's quite a recovery. And I think it has something to do, okay, maybe not actually, but I find it very interesting that pharma bro Martin Shkreli has been released from prison back in May, if you guys have been following him around. This guy, I think with me and biotechnology, I mentioned it a lot on the show, but truly, I don't know an awful lot about drug compounds or FDA catalysts or anything like that. I think biotechnology and chemistry are very, very complex topics, very complex subjects. I was never a good student at either subject back when I was in school. But so if any of the audience members work in biotech or pharmaceuticals, I think it's it's a very complex job, at least from what I understand on the outside, drug researching. So, I might be a few IQ points short of all that, but one person who isn't, Martin Shkreli. I know this person, interesting individual, actually very popular in the finance community as well. But he first made news back in 2015 for raising the price of Derafrim from 750 to I think it was like some absurd price is what the mainstream news was calling it. So he's been portrayed as the most hated man in America. Now, of course, that's just one side of the story when the narrative back in 2015 was to hate on him for price gouging. He's an interesting guy the more you read about him, actually. He has quite a few interesting finance and chemistry courses online that have been archived. Unfortunately, I think his original channel has been nuked, but he posts very interesting tutorials and lectures and courses on his YouTube channel, which I find very interesting. But even more importantly, regarding the actual his decision, I suppose, to raise the drug price, he did interesting interviews. I think the one with Vice he did was quite fascinating, where he kind of describes his perspective of everything, and the interviewer wasn't quite too big a fan of her. I think she was more or less going with the mainstream narrative of Shkreli being the most hated man. But Shkreli defends his actions. He says that Derafrim has not been improved for the span of pretty much 80 years or so, and his intentions with raising the price of the drug was to do additional research into improving the drug and perhaps even develop further drugs. So interesting story. He's also unfortunately been arrested, I think, back in 2015, sentenced in 2018 to 7 years in prison for a fraud case involving his hedge fund as well as his biotechnology company, Turing Pharmaceuticals. Not publicly traded, unfortunately, by the way, but it was an interesting story there where he was released a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, still did quite a bit of time, which I think was more than what most people would serve if they were in a similar position. I think he just had too big of a negative perception, and that might have influenced the sentencing. But nonetheless, he's been released now, and last week he did an interesting AMA on Reddit regarding getting back from prison. And he's been responding to a lot of questions he had in the comments, some of which are not entirely appropriate, but he also gives investing advice within this AMA, which I found was quite helpful. I think one of the things he mentions was invest in cash flow positive companies as well as don't use leverage, as the market has been falling quite a bit and could stay low for quite some time. Nonetheless, it's really interesting to see that he came back. But interestingly, I have been following him for some time myself, actually. I remember back in 2015, that was kind of around the time that I first got into finance and trading myself. And back then, there was a little-known company called Calobios, K-Bio. It was the ticker then. A failed pharmaceutical company, I think had an unfavorable phase 2 trial of one of its drugs and was running out of cash. And so eventually they decided that they're closing up shop and they were going to disband the company and delist. Interestingly, Martin Shkreli disagreed. He thought the company had a lot of potential moving into the future, and he decided that he would buy out the company, not through an announcement or anything like that. He would secretly scoop up a tremendous amount of shares, 70% of the company, over the course of 2 trading days, I believe, and announce it right after the market closed. And I remember this story back then. An individual named Mr. Joe Campbell, 32 years old, he decided he was going to short this biotechnology company, which, I think it's a fair decision in the vast majority of cases when you have a company about to go bankrupt. I think Revlon's an example of that, but you saw what happened with Revlon. Pretty much the exact same thing, but on steroids happened with this little-known company called Calobios. Now, everybody, I think, knowing what happened with the GME scenario, but I think few people would know that Martin Shkreli pretty much created his own GME sort of short squeeze back in late 2015. The price of this stock went from around 40 cents to $41, if I remember correctly. And I would know because I was kind of on the short side myself, albeit in a trading simulator account. Story of how I got interested in finance was I had a really cool math teacher, Mr. Lloyd, teaching me calculus back in the year 2015. He used to be a day trader himself, an oil's future trader, and he was really interesting. And we had a nice little stock market competition back in high school, back in my calculus class. We had around 40 or so people, and we were on Market Watch, where you have an investing simulator. Each person has $100,000, and over the course of 3 months, we'll see who makes the most money. And you could short any stock you want. You can use 2-to-1 leverage. You don't have to pay short interest. And so I was actually looking at K-Bio the same day that the news was released, because it was up something like 70% or something on no news whatsoever. And even back then, I was interested in shorting these massive gainers up for no reason. I thought, oh, this company just announced they're about to delist. How is it possible that it's up so much? It's going to fade. It's absolutely going to fade. Well, I got Martin Shkreli as well that day. After the news was released, the market closed. It was up something like 800% after Martin Shkreli more or less announced that he would do a cash infusion into K-Bio, that he was going to control K-Bio. A few days later, they announced, board of directors announced Martin Shkreli as the CEO of this company. And well, yeah, 40 cents to 44 cents, I believe, to $41. That's about 100 times return if you bought at the very bottom. GME went from around 4 to 500, I remember, so just shy of the returns of GME for a name like K-Bio, which is quite interesting as well. Unfortunately, I think just 3 days later, he got arrested on those fraud charges, and unfortunately from there, they quickly fired him as CEO, and the company eventually delisted. Now I think it came back as Humanogen. It's another interesting biotech company, now $1. This was the Martin Shkreli squeeze, by the way. I think this is a renamed company. This used to be K-Bio, if I can find it back on TradingView, actually. I remember that squeeze was absolutely ginormous. It was absolutely crazy. And anybody that got caught short, like Mr. Joe Campbell, ended up having a short balance in his trader account of negative $106,000. Had to start a GoFundMe, which, it's funnily enough, Martin Shkreli contributed to his GoFundMe, saying, how's the wife handling it, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. That's just classy Martin Shkreli for you. But yeah, so this is a very fascinating name. If we can go all the way back to 2015, this was the squeeze, all the way from, I guess on a split adjusted basis, still close to 100x, just pretty much overnight or over the course of just a couple of days. Absolutely crazy move there. It was a story to tell for the ages. I know everybody heard of GME, but again, back in 2015, it was Humanogen, if anybody was trading back then, which is quite crazy. But I guess biotech is back. Martin Shkreli is back on the streets now, and even he was saying biotech's oversold. Now's the time to get in. So maybe you see some promise for the future of biotech, and certainly the market seems to say so, as we're up 30% from the absolute lows. We are still back all the way.
Tony,
Yep.
let us know if you have anything to say about Martin Shkreli, because honestly, like, just playing around.
Sorry, I know it's a trading show, not the Martin
I actually
Shkreli
like
show.
the guy. The thing I was waiting for you to announce was the fact that he bought that Wu-Tang, that unreleased
he did.
Wu-Tang album, because on September 4th, I'm going to Wu-Tang concert.
No, are you?
Yes, for sure. Right here, it's Wu-Tang and Nas, and I'm hoping Martin Shkreli maybe be there, although I know that he has not too many fans in the community because he's not releasing that Wu-Tang album. Do you have any details about the Wu-Tang album?
Well, apparently I think that he still has the copy. I'm not sure if he sold it or not, but he did say he has MP3s, and he was planning on sharing some of those tracks. So
MP3s.
that's fascinating.
I like the MP3s. Tony, before we let you go here, and we'll wrap this thing up real quick, is there one name? You gave everybody Unity back down when it was at $30, and then let me just check out what Unity's at right now, and I hope it's higher than $30. It's at 42 right now. So you've
Nice
already
comeback.
been goaded by a lot of our people out here right now. Unity, beautiful move when you were down here. It was just off earnings. I believe it was around here back in May, or could have even been here. No, it wasn't mid-June. I believe it was even, yeah, it was somewhere anyways. 30, 32, something like that. A nice move up there for Unity. Anything either in the biotech, because it seems like you're all over that space, or any names in general that you want to give our viewers today so that next Tuesday, maybe we'll have a look at the call.
You know what? I think I'm just have to agree with what you said earlier about Facebook. Low PE. I think it's way oversold, and I mean it's priced in as they're going to lose a lot of ad revenue from the whole Apple privacy decision that they can't track as many users, or at least not the same type of data that they used to. But I think the market is just overselling everything at the moment. Even Netflix, possibly not a name that I usually like, but from 700 all the way to 184, and it was like a lot lower, I think, just a couple days ago. I think names like these have been way oversold, and I agree with you that I think the PE ratio is just way too low. But you also want to be holding a cash flow positive company, a company that's making money rather than losing it in this environment. But that being said, with Facebook, I did hear that they were announcing in an internal memo about sort of like a hiring cool-off, coming this year with an unprecedented hard year. I think that's what Zuckerberg said in an earlier article. So nonetheless, I think still it's down like over 50% now from the very highs. So I'd say that's a long-term investment that I'd be happy with.
Yeah, I definitely like Meta. I'm wondering if Zuckerberg's a little bit of sandbagging there. And what I mean by that is like saying that the worst is yet to come and then comes out with a half decent quarter. I mean, that definitely is possible for sure. But yeah, metaverse. You interested in the metaverse at all?
No, I can't say I am, unfortunately. I don't really use Facebook at all myself.
Okay. You're more of an Instagram guy, checking out those reels and stuff?
No, I'm more of an email and phone and texting
Phone
type
guy. Okay. Neil and Arun used to have pagers, but I think Arun got rid of his BlackBerry and is now on a...
So.
Hey, what happened to? Did you knock this guy down?
No, he's been taking a nap for
Oh,
a while because the market's been
Oh, yeah,
rallying.
that's right. The market's. We should actually turn that thing around right now. But Tony, thank you. So it's going to be Meta. We'll talk to Tony next week about Meta. So I don't want to take up too much of their time. But Tuesdays with Tony has been officially wrapped up now. So thank you, Tony, for swinging by. It was an absolutely fantastic, episode, I guess. And hey, if we ever have a podcast, I think you should be our first guest. If not, run the whole damn thing. Tony, thank you so much for coming through. What a pleasure, and one of my favorite segments. So high five to you, Tony, on that. Here, let's do a pound. Can you guys get this on there? Look, we're not even too far. Oh, there it is. That's that whole Valeria Prad thing there again, when they do the high five. But thank you so much to that. Tony is in the building, but not for long. Thank you, Tony. Tuesdays with Tony, always a pleasure.
So this is my first Tuesday with Tony that I've seen.
And now you want to host every Tuesday?
No, I'm very curious. Like, what do you guys talk about? Is it like I thought it was gonna be like a Taco Tuesday situation, but talking about food and random stuff. He actually brought in some like stocks and like.
This guy's not playing around. That's the thing. Like, I just get to sit back, relax, chill out, talk to some people on chat, although I didn't do it that much because I was pretty interested there in what his takes were. So yeah, 2 weeks ago was monetary supply, I believe, or maybe last week he talked about Japan and the president over there and the control of money and how it's different and yada, 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 and it just went on and on and on. And so what I think Tony does maybe is he writes about 15 to 20 page essays, somehow memorizes them, then comes on and spits hot fire. So I got to give a big thanks to Tony. And I know it's just a change of pace. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's more of a commentary on the market, on all things that are hot or whatever, chilling out in the market. So I really appreciate everything that Tony's done. And I sort of get to channel my inner Brendan there and sit back and interview Tony when we don't really have anything to talk about. So that is what it is. We bring up some things there. And on that note, hello, N to the I to the O, hello, downside right now. We just take out the 50 period there. It's not downside that much. We are going to wait for hopefully a bigger move coming through now on this one, but 21.75 or so, a little take there on NEO as that's starting to come in. We did also, and the market's pulling in, so I don't know for how long we're going to be in this, but we did average in a little bit there on AMD, not even averaged in, just took the trade on it, got a piece out the same level again at this high, 74.80. We were just there again. We ripped all the way to 74.90. We did have an order at 74.92, and once again, it missed us by 2 pennies. Oh, well, what can you do? But we are going to try to give this back down to 74. No more averages in. Hello, NEO, as now we're starting to get ready to go here on NIO. This trade, baby, this trade serious. You can see our average price is now 95. So that's right where we take the trade. Now let's come back in for NIO. Positive stock on the board here, but the market's coming back in. Let's see what's up, Brendan.
A couple things, actually. Bitcoin, guys, just back above 20,000 on a big move back to the upside. So some of the crypto-related stocks moving around as well. Just saw this also. Speaking of things coming back in a little bit, Lululemon was up huge today. Got all the way back to 281, coming in a little bit on volume. They announced their first retail location in Spain this morning.
Ooh, there's a big one. Oh, man, what is that? I said it to my wife and I never heard of it before. Do you know another athleisure? It's Alo, that's what it is. Yeah, because
celebrity brand.
Is it? I don't know anything about it, but ALO right there at Bay and Bloor. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge franchise store opening up. They're taking over the old Gap store, and I think it's like 50,000 square feet, or like I don't know how big.
That Gap store is closing?
It's closed. Yeah. It's now Alo. Okay. So I don't know if they're open yet, but I was just thinking about competition there for Lulu. So I don't know. I'm still going to try to be as loyal as I can to Lulu, but definitely want to check out that Alo there. If it's a celebrity endorsed kind of yoga situation, then I would lean towards.
I thought it was heavy into
Lululemon,
like Hollywood endorsed.
Probably. I mean, that's one of the only ways.
It's the same thing as Lulu. Correct me if I'm wrong. I only see these things. I don't know what these stores or what
I've never even heard of it.
Stuff is like. But I believe they're exactly the same as Lululemon. What is the difference? I would love to be taught what the difference is. But I just know that it's more heavy in Hollywood. That's about it.
Well, hey, yo, what's up, Justin? If Justin wants to come on, I see him there. He's talking about Aloe hats. They're pretty cool. Justin, if you want to come in and talk a little bit about that brand, you're more than welcome to do that. It's only 3:05 if you want to come through and you know a little bit about Aloe. You can come through anytime, my man, on the show there. So I will do an invite to that there. Okay, what do we think about Target? Yeah, let's start going over a few different names here as this market is open and quite active. Just quickly here on AMD, and then I'll start going over Target. I'll look at Lulu as well. Again, I do like Nike at these levels. We talked about that. I'm very interested in the DXY because honestly, the way this dollar's been moving lately, I feel like there's something up with it. So we'll wait to see. I almost think the Fed goes 1% here in July, and then maybe no more. So we'll see there where that goes. Don't hold me to that. I want to talk about it. I want to think about that a little bit more. But I'm wondering about the dollar and the moves that are happening there in the 10-year and all over the place. And I think that's what's also causing tech to bounce up here today. Wouldn't surprise me on some of that rhetoric as well. We are bidding here 74.35s around here. I'm just wondering if this is getting a little exhausted. I did want to hold it all the way down to 74 flat, but we are getting into a level there, 74.40. You know, I think we could probably take one more shot down here on AMD. So let's do that at 74. What am I long at? 65. I mean, I already got a pretty good price here. Let's try like 74.50 for a little bit of a decent spot, and then we will get out. I don't even want to hold this too far back down. I'm looking at that level that we just touched, 74.40. Drop that down a little bit more into there. So we'll see if we can get another price on AMD in here, but I don't mind a 74.40, something like that as an out. So maybe we have to up our bids here into the 60s. I just think on that rejection move down there, look at the move now back to the upside. So I definitely like that. We did get some out on NIO as well, as that's now making a move back to the high side. We actually got triple out. We're out of half now of our NEO, but it looks like this one wants to get taken out as well. There goes AMD. Nicely done. Back upside now. We're waiting at 92 still right there. But now that I see this, I feel like a 60 bid will put some more shares into our blotter right now on AMD, and then give it to this. Just a break of 40 on the downside, I think, is enough to get me out. But right now, AMD coming back in. Let's load our boats up a little bit more here.
All right. Well, with the market being this far or this aggressive to the upside, and us being positioned already in Meta, I'm not going to step into any more. It's a little late. You got to worry about profit taking towards the end as well. So what I am doing, though, is I'm going through my board here to see what I can potentially set up for tomorrow. I'm always thinking about the next trade. And even though I'm running out of time for today's trade, especially with the way we trade, we got to be flat by 4, right? So 4 o'clock on equities, 4:15 on future side of things. So I'm looking for trades that I can look forward to or potentially work with tomorrow. BABA is one of them. I'm noticing BABA now north of 118. Huge reversal. I mean, as the market did too. But BABA, remember earlier, all the way down to 112. Now we're at 118, bottom end of the range, almost like a Tesla move here. Although this has been consolidating for a shorter time. South of 113 into that 112, and now we're taking out the top end of the range north of 118. What I want to see here is if we can get above 119, come back down to 118, and that can happen all overnight. But if we can get above 119, come back down to 118 and stabilize, there could be a nice long there towards that 121, 122. So that's one trade that I'm looking at. A trade that I had earlier that I kind of just walked away from was Boeing. Now we played it lower here. Let me actually pull up the chart for you guys so you guys can see where the entry was on Boeing. It was right here around 136. We got out around 137-ish. It was stalling out a little bit, so I can actually use that as a potential next trade is, okay, we've been stalling out here around this 137-ish. Can we keep doing that? Because then I can work the middle of this range potentially for a short back to the bottom of the range. We have enough space. So 138 stop, maybe, depending on how we trade tomorrow. This market could take off. It just took out my last, maybe not, 38.20. That's the level that I had marked off on the futures. We are above it now, but if we need to stay above it. So if we can stay above it, I think there's a chance. There's nothing really stopping this market once we clear 38.20, because on the futures,
yep,
gone. That's it. What's next? 50, 38.50. That was the last level that I had marked off up to the top here. And now after that, our next level is about 100 points away. So we've got some resistance here around 36, 30, and 40. But again, that's 20 points away. So we're definitely going to be looking on the long side, even if it's coming into tomorrow after an overnight move to the downside. We'll see how this one plays out, but we're definitely going to be marking off some trades for tomorrow. Brendan.
Yeah, impressive reversal here. Here's another one on a reversal. ASML, guys, there was this note during the midday, the U.S. Wanting to restrict the company further from selling its parts to Chinese companies. Just saw this one as well, just took out day highs. So a nice move on a volume pop there. Still down on that news, obviously. It was down this morning as well, but ASML back to day highs.
Brendan, rubbing salt in the wound. ASML, my trade.
Brendan.
The one trade that I had that wasn't, that was bad. This was actually the first trade I took, and it just completely ran me over here. I got long around the 25s, kept going south of 20. I'm like, okay, fine, walk away. At least we avoided this mess here when that news came out, from 424 all the way down to 414. It stabilized again south of 420, and now here it is at 432. The reason I liked ASML, and this kind of, it may not have worked out today, but I do want to keep an eye on this chart. The reason I liked ASML is because of what it was doing here, which was, it's in a downtrend, but then it actually got going here for a little bit. And that's the move that I wanted to play with here. Let me break this chart down. You guys can't see it on the 60. Here we go. So as it was moving up through downtrend, clearly, south of 420, found a base, and then it started to turn a little bit. So that's why I went for the long. Now, it went a little bit further with the news and everything, but that 420 is still in play. Neil would hit that.
It's Lucas that does it. I don't know, they're sleeping over there.
But that 420 was in play, and that area is still showing solid support here. So right through there, there's some activity that's holding this up. Now, yeah, it didn't work out today, but I want to mark this off. I want to come back to it. If we do come back into that 425, I want to work it again, see if we can't get it right the second time, because it does look like it's finding some volume to get some stability going. So ASML, still something to trade, not a good stock for me today, but an opportunity might present itself in that same price point tomorrow.
All right, just checking out my phone here. Okay, so all good here going, and I just wanted to look because we did take the long now into NIO, and again, just too much strength off that 2190 level. So again, another level that we're looking at here on NIO. We went long. Where am I long? 0250. We took a 3. We take a 2 on that long side. We did get blown out there. Not blown out. I mean, we took some profit. We had half. So it was basically a flat trade with slight lean to the negative side because it just didn't come out to take enough profit when it was right to the downside. Now we blow up and now we start to go. And the reason why we reversed this into the long, for me, was pretty simple. You come in, you test the 50 period there, bounce back up. You test the 50 period again. We tested it again and actually broke it. Now let's see if we can bounce even higher on this name. So far, so good. I like the trade. I like the stock at this level, NIO. And again, if it wants to break and test a little bit lower than this 90, that's where we'll get out. But again, we took some shares. We're out for 3 or 4 pennies on the upside there. All we got was 05, so I guess 2.5 pennies out a couple times there, but not great on the move up. Let's see if the NASDAQ can continue its slide here down to the 50 period, or are we going to hang out up here at these day highs and just keep on testing the 50 and then bounce back above it, like all the way. Like, sure, these are kind of 50 tests as well because we never broke that shelf from before. So comes back in, tests, holds, right? So you have the same thing again. Come back in, test here, break a little bit. There was no real levels there. Really, you'd like to see it hold there. We didn't even get down to that level, so that's a hold. These are all holds, and there's another one more time. So I feel like the NASDAQ's going to have to break 11,700, almost right down here to get a complete change back in for this name. But hey, that's the NASDAQ, and we're going to see where it goes now. And on that note, we are long AMD. Oh, we got more there. So now AMD, okay. So we just got our 60s. So our average price 62 now. So if we can get something out in the 70s, we'll probably do that now for AMD as we start to pull back in. Remember where our out's going to be, man. 74.40. We break back downside on AMD. That's going to be 74.40, and we're gone on that name. So well worth it here. We're long at 60s. We need to make at least 20 cents to give this back to R to R, 1-to-1 here. If it can, great. If not, we have our out, 74.40. I keep asking you about, look at oil, by the way. We just recently bought some in the midday show while the midday show was on. So we averaged into our XLE position. So let's see how that's working out for us here. We did talk about that. It was a play that I liked going in. So yeah, it's not like it's up that much. We bought some around here, 68. So it's just up to 69 and change now, XLE. But a nice little bounce back here for that name as well. As oil still motoring to the upside here. Not motoring, but you're testing that $100 level again. That'll probably be pretty key until we open back up again tomorrow. So stay tuned for more oil trades, as I'm sure we'll be on it again. You traded the futures really well there for a quick scalp at the end. And then now we'll wait to see where we go on XLE, XOM, Oxy, all those names.
Yeah, market now, I mean, it's still going. It's continuing. It's not even
I hope
anything
so. I got
new.
longs again here.
It's just continuing its existing move as we get closer and closer to the end here with about 45 minutes left in the equity side of trading. Market now extending to its day highs here. NASDAQ up 1.35. When we sat down, when we started the day, we were down 1.5, something like that, close to 1.5 or so. Now here we are up 1.3.
Oh yeah, we were down 1.5 for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now here we are up and talk about reversal day. But the thing is, though, you got to keep things in perspective, right? Let's just mark it off to the, not the weekly, but large enough so we can see a few days worth. This is a 60-minute chart. We bounced off the bottom end of the range. Great. Now we're getting to the top end, which is going to provide some resistance. Even if we take out the top end, we've got to worry about this zone right here, which is about 38.75, 38.80, going all the way up to 39.25. That's a level I've got marked off. So this kind of goes into, Bradley was asking me this earlier. I never got around to mentioning this or answering that question was, how do I mark off zones? Is it locations where the market's turned? Yeah. Essentially what I'm trying to do is, as with any support resistance level, is where does the market not want to be? That means there's enough volume to keep it from being there. So in my case, the reason I marked off this zone is because initially we were struggling to kind of get through from the top end, we were struggling to get through that 3,900 into 38.90 and change. So when we finally got through, I know that there's going to be some old buying there that should act as resistance if we were to go back in. So mark off that zone as an area that's going to have volume. I want to pay attention to it. In the event we get up there, we find a reason to go short, then I already have a level marked off that I can go with, right? So same thing applies to today when we came down to 37.50. And I was looking at the NASDAQ instead of the S&P earlier against 11,350. Same rules apply. We're in a buy zone. We just needed a reason to do it. We found a reason to do it. Never got the fill, but that bounce is gone now. I actually have to delete this because this level's gone now. But here, essentially, this is what the chart looks like now. Now that we've cleared 38.20 to the upside, we've got space to the upside by about 20, 30 points or so. Once we've cleared that, we've probably got another 20 points or so before we hit the next resistance checkpoint. So that's all you do. Where does the market want to be? Where does the market not want to be? Where it doesn't want to be tells you that, hey, there's enough opposing interest, and so you got to respect the volume right there. And that's all it is. When it comes to marking off support resistance, that's all you're looking for, right? Forget all the chart patterns and single, whatever you read in books about with the names of certain terms and stuff. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it all comes down to volume. You can name it whatever you want. I don't even know the official names for some of this stuff, but I just know that, hey, the market doesn't want to be here. There's volume here. Let me find a reason to buy. Same thing applies on the top end. There's resistance here because there's previous selling or previous support that's broken. So find a reason to sell. And that's all it is. It's just a matter of tweaking your strategy around where volume points on a chart are going to be.
Okay, so yeah, just quickly here, yes, what's up, Playmaker? No, I haven't seen your post about anything. AMD right now coming to the downside. We'll look at posts or tweets after. There's not much I can do right now, but you could look at TRVI. I know that's another name. We looked at Revlon last week as well. But right now, just looking at some of the positions that we have in the market, like I said, remember right when we were talking about this, we've tested the 50-period testing and we're testing it again here. So no surprise. But again, you know, sometimes you got to dig into positions a little bit. So that is what we are doing here with AMD. Just dug in, and it's not, again, it's not a full position. It's not a bad one, but we will drop it down for 20 cent hit. We're long at 74.59 right now, and we will get out on not a 40 break, but close enough to a 40 break right here on AMD as the market is pulling back in. So yeah, it is a little bit of a hit happening now for us on NIO, but that NEO break right there of 95, just got to make sure where is my out there. Yeah, that's fine. So we're still okay with that. Hey, if the market wants to fall down here, then yeah, we'll get hit on that AMD trade. Still, man, still a nice one coming through. What darn ouch. What does that mean, Playmaker there? I will have a look at it, I said. Just can't do it right now. Oh, man, here comes AMD. That sucks. Looks like that will get taken out now. Yeah, here it is. On a move back down. There it is. Bye-bye. Breaking through 74.35. So that's a 25-cent hit. So we don't like to do that, but we will have to flush ourselves down the toilet. We can't be honest here and just like show, wow, look at that $8 winner on Facebook or whatever on Apple, on AMD, all these nice wins. This is a hit. So we got hit there. We averaged in the position. And it came out as the market's getting faded right now to the downside. Our NEO, all these longs that we pushed near the highs, just not really working out. And there's no surprise there as the market does fade back in, right? Right back through that 50 period. So we are going to get stopped out when those kind of moves happen. We're still going to stay long on NIO. And that's going to be a name that we're looking at. The strongest name that I had earlier on was Apple. That made a move all the way to 41.40. But now you're pulling back in a little bit on AAPL. And I don't know if that's ready yet either to go long. So, maybe we need pullbacks back into some of these keyer levels, 140 or so. But as I can see now, the future's trying to make that move back. So let me guess, AMD. No, AMD's still to the downside. Okay. So the one name that I would like to do would be either be Meta on a pullback in right there at that level that we're looking at again, 166. That could be something. Or Apple, as I said already. So I like those two names to go.
All right, I'm just looking at the positions that I've got here. There's nothing to do on Meta. Yeah, market's coming back in, but Meta's still got some.
What do you like about that Meta if I were to buy? Would you buy there at this 166.50? I guess it's coming in too fast. Sorry, 166 flat here? I don't know.
I mean, one thing I would worry about after a move like this is the fact that there's going to be some shorts covering.
Yeah.
Short, not just shorts covering, longs covering, and shorts stepping in saying it's too high.
Too high, too far.
Yeah, so this late in the day, I try to stay away from any new entries just because of the fact that it could easily just swipe down like $1.50 because of...
Just for no reason, right? Yeah. Just like it just floats down with a little bit of a lack of volume there. Yeah. So yeah, I do agree, but... Oh man, that 165.80 level, I don't know, I'm just looking at it right here. That's right into here, that's 165. If we could take that long against 166, I'm feeling like doing that than just giving it 20 or 30 cents. So if it does pull back, I think this is a long that I don't mind here in Meta. Roblox touching at that $40 today. You want to talk about, we talked about some Cathie Wood names coming through. Roblox, just another one of those as this one up 12% today. Hello, Roblox. I know I'm still paying for some of my kids to get those Robux right there, but that's a nice little drop down spot as well. 39 flat. You know what? I actually don't mind this. 39 flat there for I can't say it properly. Roblox, nice little level there, 39. Yeah, I don't mind that to go long off that right here, $39 or so for Roblox. Let's try that. Push a little long here against 39. Well worth the risk, man. We could go back up. If these futures go back up like they're doing, we could see a 40 print again here on that name. And where's my AMD? Back to 45. Okay, let's go long here. New name, new position alert. Roblox right here at 39.25. Let's see if we can get it.
Market bounce.
Yeah, market just keeps on bouncing here.
You can't get too caught up in it. That's the thing too. When you run into, you get past a certain point in the day, the moves no longer start making sense. It's a matter of just positions being closed. It's just a matter of taking care of business from the larger book end of things, not necessarily technical breakouts or whatever. You kind of have to stop doing that after a certain point in the day. The later it gets, for me, it's around 3:15 or so. After that, I kind of just shut down any new trades, even if they look perfect. I won't take them just because it's too late. Because you have to understand, 350 brings in imbalances, which are going to impact the stock if they're large enough. And you never know, unless there's index action on the stock ahead of time, it's going to be a problem to take a position and then get run over by an imbalance that comes out against you, right? So the reason I'm holding on to Meta is because it's up 4%, because it's doing so well, it's run strong, I'm just trying to withstand any sort of sell side activity that might come from covering and see what the imbalance is going to be in the event that this is a buy side imbalance. And looking the way it's been moving, I would hope that it's a buy side imbalance.
Look, we're really, really happy. Let's spin this money. We're going to go over to Brendan in a second. Roblox definitely cashing out now, but you might have heard me under my breath there. Look at AMD, came right back upside. I can't sit here and hate on that trade. I actually really like the trade, so all good on that. But AMD, nice little move back to the upside, and I'm glad we have Roblox up, and I'm glad that we were able to hold on to NIO as well. Let's get some more pieces out here as we go back to the upside on a lot of these names. We just took a profit spot there on NIO, on Roblox. Let's see if that can go a little bit higher. But right now, special guest. He made the mistake of putting something in the chat that I saw that he was knowledgeable about something we were talking about. Knowledgeable about a lot of things. Let's start over the desk now with Justin and Brendan and talk a little Allo.
On demand, in fact, our good friend Justin Kozach swings by to save the day here. Tell us about good to see you, as always.
Yes, you too.
Tell us a little bit about this store, because I was just explaining to you. I was down in New York for the weekend, and the one and only store my wife demanded that she had to go to was this Allo yoga wear, which is, I was just reading, is not as, I mean, it's still fairly recent. It's a brand new kind of idea and a brand new store.
Brand new idea. I mean, they've been around since 2007. They have 16 physical stores, including the 17th, what I imagine is Toronto. $200 million in annual revenue, started by two guys, Danny Harris and Marco DeGiorgis, who have actually been friends since they were kids. And they started as yoga and I guess athletic wear. Their whole goal is, I'm rhyming now. Their entire goal is to make the world's most technologically advanced yoga wear. Okay, I guess that kind of works. What's interesting about them is they also do yoga classes, which is kind of a really good dovetail between that. You get them into the store, you hold the yoga classes, and then you charge $500 for a pair of shorts. So, really smart business model. Good for them. Obviously, they're doing well with $200 million in annual revenue, and they can certainly afford to rent commercial space in Toronto, which is, if you're familiar with Toronto at all, it's not cheap to rent here even to live. So renting, 17,000 square feet of commercial real estate space at Bay and Bloor is probably going to cost you a couple pennies. So clearly they're doing well. Will be interesting to see. And actually, it was funny because Sean mentioned that, and I mentioned it, and I saw somebody on the weekend wearing a hat. And there's a restaurant in Toronto called Allo, which is impossible to get into unless you are a big fan of a 3-month waiting list. And I saw somebody wearing the hat, and I was like, well, that's weird that the restaurant would have someone wearing a hat, but maybe they work there. And then Sean mentioned Allo, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's not the restaurant, it's actually the company. So,
yeah.
There you go.
And the concept, obviously, is what I was speaking of, the combination of the two. An interesting idea, nevertheless. And I was surprised that I was expecting it to be Lululemon, esque, but it wasn't. It was very different. It was a little more upscale. It was a little bit more, not to, kind of talk down Lululemon at all, but it was different enough, I guess.
Right. I think that Lululemon is, I've got Lululemon jogging pants somewhere, and certainly, their items are a little bit more expensive. Taylor Swift wears Allo, apparently, and so does what's Justin Bieber's wife, Hailey Baldwin. So they're pretty popular with celebrities and influencers. So and for the rates that they're charging for their clothing, certainly Taylor Swift and Hailey Baldwin can afford it. I can't.
It's it's,
so winter shorts all the way.
It's crazy expensive. We were just talking before we came on here. $200 for a hoodie.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable, but very good quality. So we hear. Anyways, there you go. A little bit of an Allo insider from our friend Justin Kozach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Justin Bieber, whatever, same difference as we go. But Hailey Bieber there, I guess, wearing the clothing. I don't know. I've never even seen this Allo stuff. So that'd be kind of cool. We'll definitely check it out. But like Brendan there, I mentioned to my wife, she knew almost right away what that was. So meanwhile, thanks for doing that, Justin, again. There goes Roblox. So we called this one, man. We are long Roblox, $39.25. Here's 40 cents of the money. So making our AMD trade a thing of the past as as Roblox, a nice little move to the upside as we focus a little bit more on this one. Wow, okay, this is really starting to go now. Roblox there. I was waiting in the high 70s. Whoops. Let's just see if we get something out in the mid at 70 flat here and see if we can make a smooth 45 cents on that as we've already taken some out. Nice little upside bump right there for that name. And then also NIO, we're able to get something out there at 8s. So that was a good hold for us on NEO. There it is. Yeah, Roblox. Let's go, baby. There's the move up to the upside here. Taking out 39. Yes, 50 cents, 55 cents in the money as we are now starting to take out new levels here. And like I said, man, wow, big time movement to the upside. Happy with that play. Not happy with getting dumped out on AMD right there. But hey, we make that back. It's funny because Roblox and AMD, Roblox is only a $35 name or $40 name, and it's moving here just as much. I mean, we got out there at 35. Now you're at 80. That's 50 cents. We are also in the money 50 cents here on Roblox as that's going back up to the upside. And here goes NEO. Yes, sir. Look at this. Look at this push here, Arun. I know you're in the trade as well, but nice little move back up to the upside here for Meta. Obviously, I can only imagine how far that name is going. But yeah, buddy, part of the contract, we have to spin this. Really no negative names today, man. Snapchat was nasty off the open. We got out of that one. And by nasty, I mean, whatever, man. Like the amount of money, we lost 20% on Snap, what we made on Apple, what we made on, we can just keep going. But there's Snapchat. Wow, $14. Okay, Snap. You can't even see where, like, wow, $14.30. I was really surprised at that. Snapchat, I mean, I'm surprised at the number, and I look up here and I see 888s here, 888s and heartbreaks coming through. But wow, Snapchat, beautiful move. You could see, man, this is really, short there, out. We tried the reshort again, got out for 5 or 6 cent hit. You guys saw that one when we were up here at 13.15. The key level was 13.20, given on the sticky note as well. We should just punch long. Then we retried the short up here against that high, and we were able to make a little bit of money back. This is why it's a cup of coffee for us on the hit there. But wow, the market definitely extending out to new highs right now, taking it out, up that 1.5%. The only thing left to do is hit the like button, man. I mean, we've been killing it today with Tuesdays with Tony. We only have 4,000 watching and 600 likes. Honestly, this has gotten a little out of hand here. Hit the like button, man. Arun's putting on the trades. We got the winners, man. We are straight up cash, homie. Yeah, what's up, Tyrone Bigums right there? Straight cash. I don't know, Ronnie Coleman. I don't know what that means. What up? Thank you so much for Tyrone for that one as well. And we also do want to thank Bears vs. Bulls. We do think that everybody's having a great day. And thank you to Bears vs. Bulls for once again knocking out the moderation and keeping us legit right there. So thank you for all that. And here we go, man. There goes NEO. Yeah, that's the straight cash homie trade. We're now back positive on NEO, so that's not a negative name for us. Neither is Roblox, neither is AMD, neither is Apple. The only one, Amazon, really, this is the name where we've lost a decent amount on because we were short into that 111, and when that broke, we got out. It did trade back down to 109, and then we tried to short there. Actually made money on this trade, but now we'll leave it alone. But wow, back up to 115 goes Amazon. Look, we're hella long now, so I'm not going to short this one against it. There's Roblox, by the way, still 50 cents in the money.
Roblox, I really like that trade on Roblox. I saw it too late, though. The trade that I would have, if you saw it on time, if you keep it up on your radar and you mark off alerts, I do as much as I possibly can. But again, I'm not going to catch everything. That 36 move this morning, after starting at 34th, breaking to 36, that allows you to play a very, very cheap entry. Like you can go 36 with a 35.50 stop and see if we can get to 37.
Why did you like 36 so much there?
Because of how much time we spent here. What days is the 29th, trying to get back into 35. So after seeing what it did on Friday, north of 35, I was like, if you take out 36, that opens it right up to the top. So north of 36, you essentially play a breakout through the top, but given how much time we spent the last few days before that, getting above it opens up the door to the top, but I didn't think it'd be this. This is aggressive, and this
door
is a great, doors open, and everyone just rushed in here. So 36 would have been the first one, and then 37.50 would have been the high. That would have been a much trickier trade because the risk would have been higher. Well, that 36 long, though, super cheap on a 2-to-1 payout immediately. And because 37's right there, if you were watching it, you can catch it. But I mean, you have to be watching it. This has to be a stock that's on your list. Now it's on my list. One of the names that's on my list now to watch. Remember, we gave up on Amazon around the same price that Sean was talking about earlier. It's around that 110. We were long 110 something.
Yep.
110.20.
Yep.
And then we gave up on it. It was what time? Where was it? Right here. It's 110.20 something or 110.30 something. And once it cleared, that 111 gone to the upside here, 114. Once it cleared 111 the second time, it's gone to 114 now. When it moves like this, and Amazon's a big name in these indexes, so you do have to pay attention. When it moves like this, you got to wonder, where can I potentially join? You can't chase it this far in, because a lot of these names, the ones that have rallied, have been basing out for, Amazon put in a low of 103, found a base for a couple days around that 107, 108, finally took out the top here. Now that it's gone, you got to wait for a pullback here. That's the only way to make sense of the risk on a trade like this. But at the same time, if you want to look for a scalp move, I think the next one would be 115, opens up the door potentially to 117, 118, the highs here. But again, those are scalps. The way I would like to trade it though, pull back into that 110, work along against the 108, even the 107, depending. I'd have to break it down a little bit, but essentially a pullback would be the way to go. Hopefully we get that pullback, because it'll be nice to pick up some longs here on a pullback, given how extended we are on the day. We have not pulled back at all. I thought we might take some profit taking. Nope. We actually put in new highs not too long ago. At what? 328
right
or
now.
so, where the NASDAQ put in brand new highs, working the 11.8 up top. So still going strong as we keep going up, and S&P is now officially positive at 0.03%. So NASDAQ's been positive, but S&P now joining the board here at 0.03%. So both markets positive on the day and still looking strong.
Oh, I like that view. Look at this one. That's a good one on the camera there. You can see it's pretty quiet behind us now. I don't know what's going on with the guys behind us here. I don't know if everyone's shut down or what they're doing. But pretty quiet here today on the floor. But here, big it up, Arun, because of Meta. And what I want to talk about was, you could be late to the game as long as you're well-dressed, and there's no well-dressed man better than Arun over here, because look at this play. So Meta today, for me, 157 long, right? There's my best out, 164. So 4 into 7, so that's a $7 winner, right? 3 added to 4 more. Arun right now gets in around this 161 area right there, after I'm assuming dealing with that, holding on to that level of 161, and now holding again a $6 winner. So we're going back-to-back jacks here, baby. This was a huge move. Then we got it again. I should still be in it as it's still going to the upside. But there it is, man. Back-to-back jacks on Hydration Nation today. $7 winner one way, $8 winners one way, $7 right now, and looking at higher, higher, higher. And I see you, Kevin Scorza, there on the chat, trying to get me all worked up, saying, yeah, AMD rate here is back to $75. I know, I see where it is. We did get out there, we gave up that 50 cents, but my friend Kevin, I would just say to you that we also had 50-cent winner in Roblox. So we actually make it back. And honestly, if I was in AMD still, I may not be in that Roblox trade. So we are out of 75% of this Roblox trade there. We just got a 78 bid or something like that. So that's going to be a good trade for us. And then Neo still working up to the upside as we flipped around on that. Little push down here. What's up, Brenny? Got something on that?
A couple things, actually. VMW and AVGO. Looks like this deal is going to go through with the two of them. There was a huge spike there on that news. Volume came in, but right back down anyways. The go shop period expiring for that deal. Also this one, Workhorse. All of these little tiny, highly shorted, not really company EV stocks up huge today. 5% here for Workhorse. Just made a day high on huge volume as well. That FFIE, another one, still trying to go as well.
Faraday. Yes, you are, Kevin. You are giving me FOMO. But no, the thing about it is I do like to, so first of all, we just got out their Roblox 39.65, another piece. So now we only have 10% left on this Roblox, actually 20% left on this Roblox trade. We'll see if it can go a little bit higher. We had 30% there, so I did make a mistake on how much we had left. That's okay, got out 65. Let's see if we go back to the high side. Look, I like sort of not getting called out. I don't think that's what's happening here. But some of these trades, I initially was going to give this to 74. Maybe we should have, but we did get stopped out there. And maybe it's making new highs right now. As you can see, the NASDAQ has started to turn around a bit, which is why we did get a piece out on Roblox, which is why we did get another piece out here on NIO, as that's still remaining a little high. I'd like to go short on something right now, but the SPY is actually... Did you realize this, Arun? That the NASDAQ is up 1.5, but the Spiders is down. So the ES is down, even though the NASDAQ is rocking here. So a little bit of an interesting take right there.
Yeah, the relative weakness in the S&P has been there since this morning. And just recently, actually, S&P went positive, I think, for the first time that I saw, at 0.03, and now we're back to negative, right? NASDAQ's been strong all day. No doubt about that, which is unusual because NASDAQ's always been the weaker of the two. But here we are, NASDAQ leading the way to the upside, and the market decides that it wants to take a look at the downside. And on the S&P, we're not done yet, apparently. But here we are kind of just moving around, bouncing around, 26s, 27s right now, I believe we're doing. On the NASDAQ, or the S&P here, 26 to 27s. There's the 30s above you, so I would kind of stay away from it. Maybe some long. To be fair, at this point, I just want to see the meta imbalance. I just want to see if I can get a meta long, not a long, if I can carry my meta long into the imbalance. And if we can get a positive imbalance, then I can actually just dump it on the close, on the on-close order with the
Would you do that? You put into the auction?
I'll put it in the auction if the imbalance is large enough. If the imbalance is there, but it's not large, I'll just use that to actually offer my way out instead of, because the fees, and I'm very cheap. The fees, that's why I don't pay for shorts.
Are very expensive on the close.
Yeah, so that's why I don't pay for shorts too. The fees for on-close orders are way more expensive than getting a rebate from offering your way out. So I'm always trying to take the cheapest way out. So for me, I know that if I offer my way out, I can actually minimize the cost of getting out of the position. So that's the approach that I'm going to take, depending on opportunity cost, right? Depending on how big the imbalance is on Meta, it's either going into the book or it's going to be offered out, depending on exactly how large this imbalance is. But for now, we're just going to carry it and wait another 10 minutes or so before we kind of figure out what to do with these imbalances.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe you can do a rundown, not right now, maybe in 5 minutes you can do a rundown if you want of the imbalances, or let me know what your situation is there. People asking a little bit about that. I know it's kind of like your specialty there to talk about it. I use that word, man, frugal, not cheap, euthanasia. That's how I describe my spending habits as well. Always trying to get good deals out there and don't want to throw money away for no reason. I'm trying to teach my kids that as well. Wow, look at Google today. You want to talk about a name, look, man, I've been buying this name. Oops, GOOGL. That's what it should be. There it is right there. Ahead of the split, we do know that there's a 20-for-1 split coming on Google, and we did talk about this. I mean, we put out videos last week. I said the number one name to buy into July is going to be Google, and the very first opportunity you get to buy it in July, I guess you could have bought it Monday as well, but look at that, or Friday when we were, it was Canada Day, and we were in as July 1st. But look at this, up 4% today, way outpacing the market on that split news. So good job here for Google. Nothing but love to the upside, up that 4%, getting ready for that split. So you could see, I feel like this name you could buy hand over fist, man. A lot of love for Google, a lot of love for that rebalance coming. Well, it'll be the split first, and then the rebalance will happen after that because people are going to need to buy more shares, or maybe they're not. We'll see. The reason why I say a word like rebalance is, on a split, there's a potential this thing goes into the Dow as well. So you do have some opportunities there because the Dow is a price weighted. And so when you're up to $2,000, you can't get into the Dow. So hopefully that'll switch that up as well. We did have Shopify. They're not going into the Dow, that's for sure. And you could see the move that Shopify's had. This is after split, though, for Shopify. And of course, Shopify being a tech company, of course, is on the New York. Darn it, we don't have it today. But up that 8% today, Shopify alone. Looks nasty because our charts don't readjust. So Shopify up to $34, another one of those movers. So I feel like Google could continue to go upside there. NEO up to 22.20. So that's, I mean, you know, we got stopped out there, still profitable. And now here it goes again, upside here on NIO. We're long at, this is the thing that I hope that I can get this across to as many of you as I can, right? And that is that regardless of taking a hit there of 5 cents, like we're now in the money 17 cents to the upside, right? So you could see, there we go. We reverse it to the long, out, and enjoy this move all the way to the upside, putting, of course, NEO well into the positive realm for me here. So good trading there on NEO. And sometimes you got to sort of say, you know what, man, we're wrong on this name. It does want to go the other way. So we're going to take that and fly, right? So we do get out of that and we do reverse into the long. Now long NIO 22.03, looking to get out more. My next offer is 22.23. Shout out to Air Jordan on that one. And then we'll see where we go. But a nice little move upside for NIO as this market figuring itself out. Still some nice moves. Oil pulled back a little bit, only down now minus 8% on the day, back down to 99.60.
Yeah, once the oil closes, though, the issue is that it's hard to kind of like keep track of it. It's still going to move, right, the crude contract, but at the same time, it doesn't have the same relevance anymore because the volume is going to be much less at that point, right? So here we are kind of just waiting for these imbalances to come out in about 7 minutes. Somebody said it was about 4.56 to buy. Okay, we'll see how that comes out. It could come. That's just an estimation. Yeah, that's just an estimation, though, right? Because once we actually get it updates before whoever's posting that can actually post it or can actually update it. So it could easily change as we get closer to the end there. But imbalances, we keep referring to it, and I'll kind of just go through it right now. It's a tool that we use to figure out which side a stock is going to get pressure on as we go into the final closes, because everybody likes to send in orders, like I was talking about, on close orders that are all calculated or essentially all tallied up and then are used to execute the official closing price. So we get to see that all the markets, all the North American markets release it at 350. So NASDAQ, New York, and all the Canadian markets all release it at 350, what their interest is, I guess, in these names. And for us at Day Trade the World, it looks like this: symbol, direction, size of the imbalance, right? Yep. And then a pair value. I like to see how much has already been matched. And then forget about source. That's something that I just need to take care of.
Yeah, get rid of
for us, at 350, all these numbers and names will get updated, and we'll see how much shares need to be executed on this stock at the end, at 4 o'clock. So that helps price in which side the stocks are going to be pushed by the algorithms, depending on how large the imbalances are. If the imbalances are large enough, meaning if the stock has done 2 million shares and the imbalance is 1 million, that's 50% of the day's volume. That matters. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. If it's something small, and normally it is something small because it's not relevant, because a lot of the times what you have in these markets is, if it's not an indexing event, you're not going to have a lot of interest, right? So end of the month, third Friday, witching days, those days you get a lot of interest because there's stocks, there's movement that needs to be made. Like Sean was saying, when Google splits, there's going to be some index action because the price has now changed. It allows for more interest. So those days you're going to see unusually large imbalances, right? Those days are going to be more, they're going to matter more than a day like this, where you're coming out of a holiday and you're not doing a whole lot. So we'll see at 350 what side these imbalances come out. Estimated or expected to be buy side above $500 million. So we'll see if that's the case, and whichever direction it comes out, once we get that direction, for me, Meta, if Meta comes out buy and it's big, I'm going to throw it into the book. I want to take the close. If it's small, I'll use that pressure to actually just get out and offer my way out. So we're going to wait until 350. That's when the update happens, and we'll see how this one goes after that.
Yeah, I like it. We did get out of some NEO there at 15 when it came in. So now we have literally 10% or less than 10% of this trade on board still for NIO. So we'll wait to see where it goes. And I did want to say what's up to Bach. You asked me here, you said, yeah, the problem with the PDT roll, of course, down in the south, in the States, as we're north of Canada. Actually, Canada, where we are, there's, you know, the United States is actually north of us, based on our location. But okay, I know people probably don't even realize that, but okay. Right now, what would I recommend doing with Google? Because you have 25K and you want to avoid the PDT rule. Just depends what you're trying to do with that trading account, right? Like I think that the split is July 15th on Google. So when you look at where the stock's going to go from there, we saw Amazon, and again, the market was a different situation. Amazon went up 25% in the 5 days heading into it. I don't think that happens for Google. It's just different situation. The market's not in that sort of that rally mode. Well, it is in a rally mode right now, but I can't see Google going up 25% into the close that day. But you know, why can't Google get up here 2,400 again? So if you just want to do the math, I think you can add about 10% or so. It's 2260 right now. Maybe you get I don't know if you want to buy today. I mean, today's a nice move. A lot of strength coming in the market today. So you might want to wait to see if you get a dip buy even in tomorrow or something like that. But I've been buying at 2100 and I'm not selling. These are for long term. So I'm not playing this as a scalp trade. I think Google is one of the best names you could buy. And quite frankly, it is my largest holding. So, you know, take that for what it's worth when I'm advising this. But I don't see why we can't get up to, and we'll talk about this when it's time, right? Call me out on July 15th or whatever when it does split, and we'll see where Google's at. I mean, it's just 2450 right here. I think you can get to, and if you add $200 to that, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10%. So no matter the money you have, whether or not you buy 10 shares or 1 share, you're still getting 10% return. So if that's good enough for you, I think you have an opportunity to do that here on GOGGL. The other one too, there's different classes of shares. I believe they're both splitting, but look into that research yourself, but it shouldn't matter. They will both go up together on that move. So that's why I like Google here heading into it. It's 465 million to buy. So as we heard there, Arun from one of
unofficially. We'll know once it actually comes out, though.
Yeah, exactly. So unofficially, but that's the pre-look. As you said, there are people on the floor of the NYSE that sort of tally up roughly the bids and the offers, and then they say, okay, you know, add this all up. This is what we're thinking is coming to market. So now with only a minute to go here, I think we're okay, but we'll see where we go. I'm long Roblox, which is now near the highs for me, up 50 cents on Roblox, and we're up a whopping 8 cents on NIO. So for me, I'm interested in where Roblox goes into the imbalances. And of course, you just have Meta. So we're both looking for a nice bump to the north side in approximately 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just making some adjustments to the imbalance locator so I can actually see the Meta imbalance. So what I'll do is that I'll immediately see it on the chart anyway. So what I'll do is I'll keep the large one up so I can see the entire market as a whole. And then I'll use the filtering option to then look at a Meta on its own. So we'll see how this one goes. Market rallying now looks like as we get closer. Maybe that buy is going to stick. I don't know.
Go.
We'll see how this one plays out. Let's go in about 3 seconds or so, 5 seconds or so. We should have a pretty good indication of where we are on these imbalances. And it looks like it's a sell.
Sell side, okay, so not great.
No. It probably is a buy, but the market reacted in a sell side way, though.
Yeah, the market is coming down a little bit here, so there is a couple names that we can look at. I have them up right here if you want to come over. SWN, what? This must be a buyout or something that's coming through here. Southwestern Energy, okay. No, they're not being bought out, I don't think, but there's a nice imbalance for them. 5-6 million shares to buy. Amazon, whoa. That's a big sell. That's a decent number there for Amazon. So let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, look at Amazon. 113.80 down 50 cents, almost in a straight line for AMZN as that came out. Twitter with a decent buy as well. We can look at that to see how this affected it. Doesn't look like it did anything for Twitter. XOM a sell. Apple, there's Apple with a sell. So again, that puts that down to 141.20. Looks like they're buying that up and saying forget about it. Other than that, yeah, it looks like we only have 10 minutes left in the market. And I don't see much on here.
Meta's 30K.
What was that?
Meta is 30K.
Yeah, these NASDAQ
That's
ones.
weak. Okay, I'm going to have to be cheap and offer my way out of this because that's not large enough to take into the book. They've already paired 700,000.
Yeah.
I mean, why couldn't we have an imbalance like Amazon did? 2.1 million? That's impressive.
But at least it was to the sell side. We wouldn't want
true.
that. But,
Fair.
you know, maybe me to the buy would have been a little bit better on that one. But, yeah, there goes Roblox. Let's put an offer out there. We're just going to end the day with a monster, and we're pretty happy to do it, man, with Roblox in the money, that 50 cents plus right now. I'm debating just taking this. Nice move up to 30. Let's see if we can get a little bit more greedy here and just see, you know what? I mean, we're at 84 now. Let's just get out at 83 if it rips higher. There it is. No, did we get, we got some dark, we got some little prints there on 83 there for Roblox. So we will take that out and then just wait to see what happens now on RBLX. We're out of that one. That's a nice win, man. There's the long. and there's the out. So the longs right there at 39.20. Good take for me. There's the outs again at 83. So that looks like that's going to turn out to be quite a nice trade. So I'm happy with that one coming through. Nice win to floss off the end of the day, to end the day basically at our highest spot we've been at here. So that's a good one for us. And then NEO, nice little bump back upside as well. We might as well clear everything out on this one. Thank you so much for watching, man. We also hit 318,000 subscribers. So that's monstrous, man. That's a big one for us. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. Baba coming up to 120 super fast. I really like this Alibaba trade, man. This could be a good swing trade as well. Alibaba really strong today. Really, really strong, absorbing some of those levels, just hitting the 50 period all the way up and continuing to climb. So if you want to get a strong name, I really like Alibaba breaking above that 120. Looks like we can do that. If we could stay there, then yeah, I like it, man. Nice move to the upside. Just like Arun was saying, we did some work under 115, but it didn't stay there for very long. And today you get a nice bump of $5 higher. So I like the stock. I like the name. Roblox and Alibaba continues to work to the upside, kind of like NEO, which you got to get out of, as that's still a nice little 10-cent win here.
All right, one thing with these imbalances, just be aware though, this is kind of how it operates. 350, you get the release, and at 355, you get the floor update, right? So that right now, it's not including any interest from the floor. So at 355, when you get that, these numbers all change, right? So some of them get bigger. So like you see SWN, it's 6.6 million shares. The stock's done, and it's paired 65 million, which makes me think that there's some index action on SWN that we don't know about, or we haven't looked into, because that's unusually high paired value or paired volume on. It's done 60 million. Imbalances looks like about 70 million shares, and they've paired 64 or 65 million. So there's something going on with SWN. I'm sure we have it somewhere. We can look into it, but I'm not going to get involved anyways. But that's where you kind of look at it, right? It's like, okay, well, 6.6 million shares, is that going to matter? Oh, that's a big number. But when the stock's done 60 million, that's 10% of the day's volume. Not as much, but then you see the 65 million. That tells me there's something going on. So keep an eye on that. TAL, 2.5, it's done 5.7. Yeah, about 50% of the day. I think the big one that I think that's interesting is CDK here. It's 1.8 million shares to buy, 1.7 million shares to sell, actually. And it's only done 3.5 on the day. So interestingly, it was actually a little bit larger earlier. Now it's starting to shrink here. And at 355, if these numbers stick around, you're going to see some pressure in these names here. I am trying to offer my way out of Meta as well, but I want to see what happens at 355, see if Meta gets any bigger.
Too late.
What happened?
You got out of Meta.
Oh, did I get the swipe on the fill? Oh, yeah, they swiped up and gave me the fill. Okay, I'll take that.
Beauty.
I'll take that. Someone swiped up just before 355 and got me the fill. I'll take that, because I saw that NASDAQ swipe up. I didn't see the Meta swipe up, but yeah, I'm done. I guess we'll see what 355 brings. SW1 getting bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
Okay, there's got to be something going on with SW1 at the end here, because that's unusually high. We're nearing 90 million shares for the imbalance. Yeah, that's. Let me look around and see if I can't find something on SW1.
Oh man, we took our Roblox out there at 39.83, and look at Roblox now, $40, and still moving to the upside. But that was a great trade there for you. We're going to end the day at our highest spot, so thank you once again.
There it is.
What's that?
SWN addition with
Right.
CDK being deleted from the S&P 400, but it's SWN buy side. Makes perfect sense, right? They're trying. This is the index action you got to be aware of.
Look at the next note.
July 5th. That's today.
No, in of one and out of the other. Deletion
Oh,
one.
deletion
Yeah,
out
so
of the 600.
into the 400 out of the 600.
So that's an upgrade, right?
So I'm just saying that's the
yeah.
problem. Is that you're going to see some of these dance around. We can watch SWN now because again, upgrades and downgrades coming galore here on that name, and you can see right there now only 4 million shares. Twitter's still a nice little buy. We've seen Twitter be real good into the close if that buy can hold. So I mean, right now, let's think about, let's just quickly go long here on Twitter. I feel like we do have, some kind of, okay, we just went long 37, it just blew right through us, against this 30 level. We'll just hold this for a couple pennies. If it goes to the downside, fine, but we're going to try to go 1-to-1 on this one and just use our advantage here. 38.29, I guess, will be our out here as we go. We'll just see if we can get that. But watch this. I'm going to put an offer now up to 38. I gave 29. What's my price? 37. So let's see if we can get a dime one way or the other here on this Twitter imbalance. So Twitter's still a buy side. So we are long right now. You just saw me buy that 38.37. We went long. It's already up to 41. Let's see if it can continue a little bit higher. I'm waiting at 47. See if we can make a dime piece right now. We just took this right in front of you. You know what? Forget about it, man. Honestly, Arun, to end the day. Oh, shoot. The end the day. Oh, there it is. Okay, boom. We'll take a little bit out there. Yes, sir. Spin it right there off the imbalances. We would have liked to take more on that trade, but we literally just wanted to show you there what you can do. I've seen Twitter with some buys, and if that holds, then we'll go a lot higher than this. The problem is, as Arun was mentioning there, they get paired off. So like it just takes one person on the NYSE to be waiting, and then all of a sudden he's like, sold. Like that's literally how it works. And then he could take that 1.6 million off close, balances out, and then this name will come back down in. So let's just wait to see. We're pretty happy there. We'll take that 8 cents right away. 8 cents in like 20 seconds or so on that trade. So I like that for Twitter. And there it is, man. The scalp just worked out pretty good for us with only 2 minutes left. We could check back in on some of the trades. What's AMD's at 75? Shout out to Kevin there. Good call on that one, as that's still ripping high side. Roblox still a good little take for us. And then the name that we wanted long all day looks like it's going to hang out upside here is Apple, hanging out upside. Great longs on Apple today. Look at these, man. 137 long, 138 long, 139 long. So Apple's my number one stock today, followed by Meta, then followed by AMD, then Roblox, so on and so forth as we go higher up there. A bunch of nice longs happened today for us. So happy, joy, Ren and Stimpy time.
I'm just keeping an eye on CDK here. Knowing that CDK is supposed to be deleted from the S&P 400 and seeing it on a sell side, 1.5 million shares, already paired 5. This is very interesting. If you trade like this and you have this data and you have these imbalance locators and information, you essentially could maybe take a short and try to get out on the print. I don't know. You can get fancy with it. But I just like watching this because it gets very hectic right at the end. Because remember, these numbers are always updating. SWN has been flipping around from buy and sell the entire time. It was a buy for a bit, and now it's a sell side of 8 million shares, and it's getting bigger on the sell side, and it's already paired 100 million shares. Remember, it's supposed to be added into the S&P 400. So it's supposed to go up from the 6 into the 4, but right now it's a sell side move. So just watching it, yeah, it's crazy. If you know why or what you're looking at in terms of like data and why it shouldn't be what it is, you're like, oh, that's very interesting. So that's what I'm just keeping an eye on, is CDK and SWN, to see how they play out going into the end of the day.
So it looks like we did pretty good on Twitter, as it's right back down in, just as we said there. Only 20 seconds to go. Twitter's come back in. Good call on that one, man. And then, yeah, people talking about these meta trades and how insane these trades were. And yeah, they were, man. 150. I got it. 157 long, 164 long as well into the close. I got it, man. 3, 2, relax, Fahad. 2 and 1. It's Tony, and the market is closed there as we go back up to the upside. Fahad comes back one day. The next thing you know, this guy's a producer there. So thanks, Fahad, for the warning. I did miss it earlier. So I got to give a big shout out to Fahad because I missed the opening bell, but not the closing there, because I saw it at the corner of my eye. Tony was in the building and we were flat. So it looks like a pretty good one. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but we did talk about the S&P 500 being sub-zero. You know where that's from, sub-zero?
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Mortal Kombat, good one, yeah. But did we wind up sub-zero there, Brendan?
Yeah, nice finish, guys. Let's have a look at how we wrap up the day. 0.16. In fact, for the S&P, nice look to start the new week. The Dow struggled a little bit all day, 0.4 to the downside. Small caps were strong throughout the day. Look at the NASDAQ, relative strength and then some. 1.7, 1.6 versus barely positive at the top end of the board. So we were talking about strength in tech, guys. That's a pretty good example. Can't remember the last time I've seen that, such an offset, NASDAQ versus the rest of the market.
Yeah. I love the NASDAQ. I mean, I feel like it's been the way down and now it's the way up. Buying high quality names, I think, will always continue to work. But yeah, what a great day it was here today. Completely different trading styles. I couldn't be happier. I mean, we have one negative name, only Amazon, tons of activity. Oh yeah, small little bit on Snapchat as well, but great Roblox trades into the end of the day. AMD, we both destroyed Meta today. I mean, what a great trade. I mean, my Apple trade was even better. We had so many reloads on Apple today, and that's part of what it is, man. Stay true to your research there. Just like mine is more scalps, in and out, faster trades. Arun pretty patient there today with his trades as well. So many ways to deal with this market when it's moving like this, man. Honestly, I couldn't be happier. We've had a monster June. My June was huge, man. I don't know how your June was, but it was a monster there, and we really enjoyed it. No futures trades, I guess, for you today other than the oil,
the crude,
the crude one. So hopefully we'll see tomorrow. If you did want to talk, Arun, tomorrow at 9 o'clock, plus you're here with me tomorrow again anyways, so we will be going over some futures levels. We'll see if they hit, man. And, you know, you don't need to be scalping. You can scalp the futures. It's not your style. And we'll wait to see if that does come through. So a big thank you to Arun. A big thank you to Fahad today. Big thanks to Lucas. It's really great to have these guys back. Lucas was not struggling last week, but I could see in his eyes that it was a tiresome week there running that board all by himself. So it's great to have the dynamic duo back. I just don't know who's Batman and who's Robin over there. But great to have those guys come. I know they're both jokers. But good job there. And thanks to Brendan, and a big thanks to Trader Prad, Luca, Ian as well. Big thanks to Brandon for working on the watch list with us. And obviously a big thanks to you, Arun, for coming through. You're here tomorrow.
I believe I'm in all week, unless you change your mind, Sean. But
Neil's
Neil's gone tomorrow, and then I believe you're taking off for
I'm supposed to be going off Thursday, Friday. I think that's still going to be good to go on that one. Brendan's back as well from NYC. I know you had a good trip, I assume, Brendan?
That was amazing. Yeah, I love that city. Really cool. Very eye-opening, though, but interesting nevertheless.
Yeah, it is. It's a great. I mean, I love New York. If you have the money there, might not be a better place to live than New York City. Expensive, similar to Toronto, I guess, when you're talking about that.
I was actually in Montreal over the weekend for the. They have the jazz festival going there.
Oh, they do now. Okay, yeah. Montreal Jazz Festival is pretty big. Also, some comedy festivals, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
You're more of a jazz guy. Okay, how did you get to Montreal? Drove?
Flew. Yeah. I can't drive 6 hours. I'm sorry. I can't.
Arun Porter?
Porter, yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It's like an hour flight. It's either fly an hour or drive 6.
Shout out to
whatever.
Porter.
Honestly, I hate these guys with no kids. I hate these two more than you can even imagine right now. Just jet setting, flying all around. Shout out to you guys. Good choice there. Yeah. Anyways, very exciting. We're here at Trader TV Live. We're throwing the money around, man. We're making the money. We're these two jokers spending the money there as we go. But congratulations, guys. Glad that you guys had a great time. The weather was awesome this weekend. And that's what summer's all about, right? We don't take enough vacations here at Trader TV Live. So I'm glad these guys were able to do that as well. But hey, join us tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. We're Trader TV Live, 8:30. Check you tomorrow. See you guys.